Welcome, surf fans, to the Hawaiian Pro, stop number 1 of the Vans Triple Crown of Surfing. Chris Cote here with Strider Wasilewski. We are looking at unruly, spastic conditions here at Haleiwa, but I tell you what, there are scores out there. These surfers are going to have to work for it today.
The sun is not out, the wind is not offshore, and it is not warm outside.
But I'm loving it.
Let me tell you right now, the QS grind is on, and you know what? They're going through the roof. That last heat, we saw a crazy exchange right there of all those different waves ridden in the end. The judges have their hands full today. There's so much going on out there. It's just absolutely insane. Right now, look at this heat in the water.
Round 3, Heat 3, Joan Duru, Ian Govea, Peterson, Crisanto, and Ramsey Buchheim. Strider, you're looking at the ocean right now, and everything is telling you this is unsurfable. Watch what these guys do in these super challenging waves.
Joan Duru on the backhand threw it up there. And you know what? Came through that little explosion. It is just so hard to execute a well-ridden ride today. So keeping it smooth and keeping it clean is the key, as you see right there through the roof. Crisanto does just that. So he'll get a solid score for the drop wallet off the top. Keeps the speed line going down the line and looks for more on the inside.
Hey, you know what? I mean, there's no way of saying that it's clean and easy to surf out there, but I'll tell you what, it's really fun to watch because there are some chip shot wedges from hell coming in. So these surfers, again, they're going to have to paddle hard, they're going to have to surf hard, and we see a rider up now. This is Peterson Crisanto, a young surfer from Brazil, blasting his fins out and going down.
He's got a lot of style and it's really smooth, you know. You see a lot of excited surfers from Brazil, yet they're all excited, and when they smooth it out, they start to look like that, nice and clean, just like Felipe Toledo, Miguel Pupo, all the guys on tour from Brazil.
Kripo was talking about finding the diamond in the coal mine. Well, these first four surfers in that first heat, they were the canaries in the coal mine, our guinea pigs on the day. Let's go to Ian Folke, who's with Caio Ibelli. How was that?
Thanks, guys. Yeah, definitely down here with an excited Brazilian surfer, Caio. How tough were the conditions today? It looked like a river out there.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever seen this north winds this hard, and it was really hard to position myself and trying to find the right corner. Like, I was pretty much paddling in the current for a straight 20 minutes, and in the last a little bit more than 5 minutes, I found one wave that I could do 3 turns at, and yeah, it's really tough. Like, the north swell doesn't help, and the north wind even more. Like, it's Haleiwa, I think, is already a hard and a currenty wave, and when the wind's like this, it gets even more choppy and more hard to dig the rail and do turns. So yeah, stoked to make through first heat. You never know early in the morning what the judge wants, and yeah, stoked to make through.
Well, you definitely had enough to get through, Caio. Talk to us about priority. A lot of wind, a lot of current, as you were saying. Was that something you were worried about, or were you just hunting any wave you could get to get the score?
Yeah, with this kind of wind, we can barely hear anything out there, and the current's really strong, so if you don't have priority, you're probably gonna have to be paddling even more towards the channel. So yeah, I lost priority on a set that I couldn't get it, and I was stuck far, and I had to wait everyone to catch a wave, but everything worked out. At the end, I had priority, I caught a wave, and yeah, got a couple more little turns and stuff.
Well, you did what you had to do. Great job, Caio. Back up to you guys for more live action.
So you want to be a pro surfer. Well, this is what you're going to have to contend with. Haleiwa, big and wild, but I tell you, as a surf fan, really fun to watch, very unpredictable. Scores coming through now. Joan Duru, a 3.17. Peterson Crisanto, a 7.33. Strider, that tells me with that 7.33 on the board, there are diamonds in the rough.
There are diamonds out there. The nice smooth face is going to pay off. So that was a wave that came through kind of underneath the set. So this is one that's like during a set. So see how lumpy the face is? This is Ramsey Buchheim trying to find some open face, trying to get some smooth water, but that wave not really doing what he wanted. And so you can see him kind of kicking out of it. This wave, the same thing. There's not a lot of really great looking water to work with, but he does really well with this wave. He finds himself back into the power pocket and then finishes off the corner, and then actually gets a little rebate reform with this little left. So, you know, this is just really keen surfing where he's actually reacting to what the ocean's doing and coming away with an average number, but you know, solid to look over your shoulder and find that reform.
Sparky on the start for sure. Puguvea. So you see the priority, how it stands right now. Joan Duru out the back with priority. That means surfer in red has first choice of any wave out there. So, you know, Kaio Ibeli told us in that interview, really tough to hear, but they do have a visual, correct? They can look to the tower.
They have a priority visual, yeah.
What are they looking at?
There's a judge up there who his sole, you know, his sole deal is to just figure out who should be on the next wave and where the priority sits. And so they have cards up there where they slide them in and out, and there's numbers posted. So that's what they do. Right there's the green. There they are. There's the cards for the actual priority, and then what you saw, that other flip was, the other round circle was for the time and the heat.
So that's a fail-safe right here. If the wind is howling, you can't hear what our beach commentators are saying. You look in and you can see exactly what order you are in line. So I feel like,
just by the way, the judges are right behind where we just looked at, and there's no screen up there for them. So they are getting pelted by rain and wind in their face all day today if it continues to rain. But just in general, you can see that the wind is blowing straight on them as well. So, you know, that's what they're going to have to deal with, the elements today. I think they were dealing with them this morning. I was just, you know, I didn't catch the whole heat, but I saw Ezekiel Lau do the best turn of the heat, I thought, and I saw Nat Young go through the roof a couple of times, his first wave and the other wave. I was thinking that him and Ezekiel were coming through, and then, you know, Kaio and the other surfer came through. So it's just like one of those things, Brett Simpson. So it's interesting. You watch a heat from outside, just off the side, and then the judges come up with something completely different. It is not a fun job, let me tell you.
well, nothing's going to be easy today for our judges, for the surfers in the water. And it's funny because I think a lot of surfers will tell you they love storm surf like this because you get, you know, wild sections coming at you. There's plenty of waves coming through. But when you only have 30 minutes and you're really fighting for something huge, you know, not only in your career, but in your life, you know, this is where qualification is going to shake out.
But that's my point. Like, watching that heat that I just saw, watching it roll out, I'd love to go back and watch the heat analyzer and just take all the scores away, look at the surfing, and then bang, you know, you come up with your theory on who won.
It takes two waves. It takes
crazy.
2 waves.
Yeah, I know. And both the other surfers, I thought, had 2 good backups, you know. I don't know. Sorry, I'm getting a little caught up in the first heat of the day.
Hey.
We're in this heat. Wave selection, a component of heat strategy, is based on surfers riding the best wave during the heat in order to maximize their scoring opportunity.
Now, common sense maybe would tell you just take off on whatever on a day like today. But what do you think? What is the wave that these surfers are looking for? Is it's more than luck,
wave,
right?
Well, honestly, it's the same wave that even when the small day was here and we had those kind of like lefts rolling through, it was the second wave of the set, the one that kind of came a little more inside and hugged and had that clean water, because that choppy face is really hard to deal with. So if you can wait till after the set, you can see right here. See how the water's a little milky? That means a wave is rolled through and it kind of cleaned up the surface. And that's the wave you want to get. And that's why he got a high score, because he had the platform to work with. You can see his little lip line float, and he's projecting down the line right here. When he snaps off the top, he keeps going down the line because he knows he needs to get in number 2, and then slams it straight up again into the bowl. And you can see the milky face right there, and that's what allowed them to, you know, him to actually perform. A 7.33 for that wave was pretty high score. You know, that's a big score.
I like to see surfers right on the edge of out of control. And that's what Peterson was on that second turn.
Yeah, the drama plays into it, huh?
Exactly. Here we go. This is Joan Duru. His backhand, I would say 75% of the reason why he is currently on the championship tour. Absolutely lethal, big floater down into that toilet bowl section, which we didn't see the first 2 days of competition. We're looking at a messy toilet bowl section today, Strider.
Well, looks like we're getting some swimming. It's almost dry reef right there. So you try and whip a duck dive right there, scrape the knuckles off, maybe even get some new channels in your board.
Right behind him, Ramsey Buchheim, another surfer with a lethal backhand. He's on a foamy one, but a couple of opportunities there. Little third hit for Ramsey. So back-to-back waves. Ramsey Buchheim obviously getting the better of that exchange with Joan Duru falling out of the sky straight onto nearly dry reef. Here's a look at Ramsey's last wave.
Again, this is a wave with foam on it, which I like. Look, there's a little bit of, it's a little cleaner. The face is just, it's, and you know, it's a little whitewater, rapidy, milky looking, but there's a little bit of a smoother face even on, you know, even with the foam on the face to try and do a couple of turns, which is gonna, it's just the hardest part is to find that clean water to do some maneuvers on. Nice little slice off the top there, sets it up. Looking for more lip line in the whitewater here. It comes up, hits a little bump on the way up, so doesn't really go vertical where he wanted to. And you can see the frustration in his face right there, but cleaned it up and continued the wave and kicked out with authority, and that's what you have to do. Keep the body language strong.
7.33 from Peterson Crisanto, looming large in the big picture of this heat. The highest single wave score of the day. Ian Gouveia in second, Ramsey Buchheim in third, and now our leader, Peterson Crisanto, again finding a wedge right off the takeoff, putting his board in all the right places. Third big turn. Peterson Crisanto. Now this is a kid that started off as a big name, a young gun, and he appears to be back on track after a little bit of a sophomore slump. And Ian Gouveia now. It's an interesting contrast. I think Ian Gouveia, Peterson Crisanto, very similar in their approach, their body type, different stances. So is it going to be goofies or regular with the edge today, Strider?
You know, it's interesting. You say you know, when you say that and you ask that, it's a dynamic that is going to play into this heat, because on the forehand right here, Crisanto's got a completely different style of surfing as to the other three surfers in the heat. So it looks different, and he's catching the best waves. That wave was just clean, open face, absolutely ripped the top off of this thing. Watch this, up into the corner, super wedge, on the money, just kind of almost a setup snap, but still makes it look clean. You can see his eyes always looking down the line. And then this young man, boom, weightless floater, throws it up for another snap. So the contrast of backhand and the forehand is definitely there for these surfers. They're all, the backhanders I feel like are going to be kind of judged off of each other because they're all, you know, doing the same style backhand surfing, and then the forehand surfing is going to have his kind of all to himself and making himself kind of look different and apart from everybody in the water.
So the strength of that first big turn and the incredible last turn for Peterson Crisanto warrants a big number, a 7.5. Peterson Crisanto well into the lead. 14 minutes, 30 seconds to go. We're going to take a quick break. We'll be right back. More round 3 action. This is the Hawaiian Pro. We are back. You're watching the Hawaiian Pro qualifying series 10,000. Only 2 10,000s left on the year. That means 2 chances for our surfers on the QS Tour to get those much needed points towards glory, the glory of the championship tour. There you see her previous heat or event winners. Ezekiel Lau won the incredible PDP Billabong Pro Cash, but unfortunately went down in the first heat of the day. That means they're looking for a new winner. This is Peterson Crisanto, who's been in absolute control of this heat with big ninja hacks like that first turn and opts out of the second turn, maybe feeling safe and not needing to throw full risk. Meanwhile, Ramsey Buchheim up and down.
There is a lot of water coming at you out there. A lot of water. You know, you got a lot of. You're slingshotting into these waves.
There's
right?
a
You
lot going on out
You can see
there.
the way the waves are bowling up, and it had almost had Crisanto's wave almost looked like a wave from soup bowls in Barbados. Here we go. It's a replay right here. A couple of nice off the tops right there. Goes for a third, but can't bring it down. A lot of water moving like we were just talking about. And here's the little soup bowl nugget. Look at this wave. Just comes around the corner. So much speed as that wedge came to the inside onto that reef. And it's really hard to negotiate. It gets so shallow in there. Ramsey, he throws it up here for a little slice, but then tries to throw up the float, but it's just too late. Comes down out of momentum. Falls off the end there.
I love the look of Peterson Crisanto on these waves. He's fitting his turns in so perfectly. Placing it right there. There's Kieran Jabor, standout from our first 2 days of competition here at the Hawaiian Pro. What a difference a couple of days make. It was sunny, you guys were doing airs, having fun, and now they're out there battling the elements and battling top seeds. Kalohe Andino will be coming up as well. Keanu Asing. And that was going to be an incredible heat.
Rafael behind him in the white there, getting ready. We saw some great surfing out of him on the opening days, so should be really fun to watch. And another thing to note here at Haleiwa today is the Portuguese man-o-wars on the beach, which means that there are Portuguese man-o-wars in the water.
Just throw that in there.
Which means that there are little jellyfish out there with these long blue tails, and let me tell you, they are a pleasure when they touch you.
So you're saying you can get pounded by a wave, stung by a jellyfish, and sent onto dry reef today.
There they are.
Oh.
That little thing right there will shock the system like you have no idea. It's crazy just getting one of those, and they rub up against you, and at first you're like, huh, and all of a sudden it settles in, and then it literally leaves a little mini scar, like all these little lumps on you, and it takes days for it to go away, days.
I got a spray for that.
You got a spray for everything, Chris.
Active skin repair works. 9 minutes and 58 seconds to go. Peterson Crisanto and Ian Gouveia, two Brazilians in first and second place right now. Ramsey Buchheim, surfer out of Morocco, in third. João Duru, our top seed, surprisingly in fourth place right now.
Well, just goes to show you the conditions, very, very hard. And you see where he's at? He's pretty far outside, and he's trying to catch that, you know, kind of bigger open face wave. But I feel like today, again, that number 2 inside corner where Crisanto is sitting. See him? He's like one of the deepest surfers in the lineup and one of the furthest in. Bar Gouveia, who's actually probably looking for a left because that's all he wants to do.
Well, this is what I love about the Vans Triple Crown of surfing. It's very unpredictable. You never know what kind of waves you're going to get. You never know what surfers are going to rise up from the depths of the QS and make a push. Right now, Peterson Crisanto, he wants in. Top 22 for the 2017 Championship Tour will remain on tour. Then we take the top 10 from the 2017 qualifying series, excluding double qualifiers, and then we got 2 WSL wildcards. Will it be Peterson Crisanto on the 2018 Championship Tour, fading back from behind, setting it up straight off the bottom? Bam, another well-placed layback hack from Peterson Crisanto, who's making it look relatively easy for how challenging it actually is. João Duru on his backhand wondering what's going on. Well, 8 minutes, 15 seconds to go.
What's going on is that guys are sitting underneath this priority in the corner there and finding waves because they're better and they have open face. And maybe he didn't scan the horizon or the lineup, you know, or get a good enough warm-up. But you see these little waves that Crisanto's finding on the inside here? These are the ones you want. Nice and clean, finding corners, slams it in there. You know, the timing hard to get on a day like today, but he's putting together pretty good waves that you know, a lot of other guys aren't even able to really get because they're not even really looking for him. He thought that wave was going to bowl out a little harder than it did, so he came a little off, but this turn right here, pretty solid. Another drop wallet, so 2 in a row. Foot came off the back of the board right there, and he put it back on. Solid work right there. And then your surfer in red, Joan Daru, out the back. These are the waves, so he was outside, remember? He was sitting further out, but these are the type of waves you're going to find sitting further out. They're not going to be those, like, kind of bowly, nuggety waves that you can perform on.
So most likely that score from Pedersen Crisanto will not go into his top 2. We'll see what happens with Joan Duru. A couple quick snaps.
Crisanto sitting on a 14.83. You kidding? That's going to get you through most heats. If you can average 14 points a heat, you're going to be in world title contention.
You're going to be looking good. 6 minutes, 50 seconds to go. We've got Ian Folke with an interview on the beach. Who you got down there, Ian?
Thanks, Chris. Yeah, I'm down here with a group of Portuguese man-o-wars. Strider, you were right. These things are everywhere. It's a man-o-war minefield. So what we got here are these little blue jellyfish with long tails, as Strider was saying. They're about 2 to 3 feet long, even though the actual jellyfish is only the size of a quarter. And what we have is a grouping here. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So just in this short area, we've got at least 5 man-o-wars, which means in that big playing field at the Haleiwa Toilet Bowl and in the channel, there's got to be more of these things. So no one ever said surfing wasn't dangerous on the QS. These guys have a real battle out for them from today.
Just add to the danger element. Well, I'm not surfing today. All these things put together.
Hey, all you got to do is walk down and see those things on the beach, and you're not surfing.
No, thank you.
We were at the Gold Coast event, first event of the year on the World Championship Tour, which is going to be coming up so quick you don't even know it. It just turned on shore, and next thing you knew, blue bottles everywhere. I was getting zapped. I jumped up on the back of the ski, blue bottles wrapping all over the back of the actual boogie there, and I was just getting zapped. Oh, look, here we go, the recap. Joan Daru, nice little couple of cracks. Does well to stay on his feet, but timing a little off. And then this is when Crisanto found those underneath nuggets, and he loves to get it up under the hood right there. Snaps away a couple of lip line.
I really like how this guy's surfing right now.
Yeah, really clean, pacing himself through it, matching up with the waves. That wave right there is 7.5, solid wave. Definitely best wave of the heat. Gouveia, lip line, air drop off that thing. Rock solid, low center of gravity. You need that today. Shock absorbers playing in big time.
Well, in looking, you know, the tail of the tape, let's say, you would think Joan Duru, Ramzi Buchheim, these guys are in that 6-foot range, you know, solid builds. You would think they would have the edge, you know, being the bigger guys in the lineup. But right now I'm looking at Crisanto and Gouveia, stockier, low center of gravity, and it's almost like they're able to get under the wind and really fit themselves into the pocket here, whereas Duru, Buchheim are kind of taller, you know, they do bigger extended turns. The guys who are really compact and fitting into these wedges and kind of cavernous sections of these waves seemingly have the edge here. We'll see if Ramzi can prove that theory wrong. Right now, off the bottom, up in the lip, nicely placed first turn. Tough section for his second turn. He goes down.
Yeah, he was pushing a little too hard, not pacing with the actual wave and what the wave was allowing him to do. So he was so pushed into the corner with 3:40 on the clock that he knew he needed to perform, and he tried to overperform on the wave. Your theory, theoretically, sounds good, but you put Ramzi or Joan on those waves that Crisanto had, and you're going to see those same scores, if not bigger.
Wave selection. Wave selection.
Finding those nuggets underneath the hook, and you know you're going to see them go through the roof. This young man,
your top seed coming into this next heat, Kalohe Andino from San Clemente, California, set some great results on the CT this year.
Maximized some opportunity over in Portugal. Went head-to-head with John Florence and took him down. Interesting. Yeah. Saw a lot of confidence coming out of him over there, and it was it was refreshing to see Kolohe Andino surf the way that he usually does outside of the jersey.
Agreed. Pedersen Crisanto in the lead. Well ahead of second place surfer Ian Gouveia, who sits with priority. Joan Daru in third. He needs a 7.16. Ramsey Buchheim in fourth, needing a 7.73. I'm looking at this top two and bottom two as an upset because Joan Daru is your high seed coming into this heat. Ramsey Buchheim, a full-blown contender when waves get heavy. So if we lose our Frenchman and our surfer from Morocco right now, that'll send a shockwave through the rest of the field, no doubt.
Yes, it will. And guess what? It is straight north winds out here, which means it's offshore in Honolulu. And I think everybody thinks it's beautiful out here, too. You saw the beach there. It was packed. It's starting to fill up down here. And everybody came out to check out the Hawaiian Pro. Greeted with these winds. But it does look like the horizon line is clear, so maybe we won't have any more rain today, which is a plus.
I'd love to see how surf fans at home are watching. Take a picture. Tag us at WSL. Show us what you're up to watching the Hawaiian Pro on this Super Sunday. Joan Daru now getting back into it. That's the backhand that got him onto the championship tour. He's gone to it.
That could be it. That could be the score he needed.
7.16. That's what he needs.
Here we go. Let's check it out. So he had priority. Dropping in. Lip line, not super clean right there. But this turn, not bad. Nice little whip right there. Then follows it up with an okay finish. I'd say it's going to come in just under. Yeah.
The first turn.
You never know.
The first turn was awkward. Second turn, spot on. Third turn was kind of right in the middle of
good and bad.
Did he mean to do that? Yeah. Let's see. With priority, it is Ian Gouveia. He goes left. Big section in front of him, goes to the air, and comes down clean. Pulling the rabbit out of his hat. Ian Gouveia gets the front three.
Well,
that was crazy.
Is that going to better? Is he going to better the 4.83? So changing the position of Joan Daru's necessity, but Joan came up short anyway with a 6.73.
He's not going to get it. Now Pedersen Crisanto, last wave of this heat, he'll be coming in relieved, taking down two heavyweights to take the win. It's going to be Pedersen Crisanto and Ian Gouveia advancing through. We got a lot more surfing to come. Stay tuned. You're watching the Hawaiian Pro. even on a blustery day like today, this truly is paradise. This is the Hawaiian Pro here at Ali'i Beach Park, Haleiwa, Oahu, Kolohe Andino. Keanu Asing, Rafael Teixeira, and Kieran Jabor hit the lineup. Chris Cote here with Strider Wasilewski. We are witnessing some incredible surfing in challenging conditions. Big chip shots coming from the deep. It's all about wave selection, and it's all about turn selection, fitting the right turn in the right section. Can Kolohe Andino do just that? Big snapping float to start from way deep. Your high seed going into this heat, Kolohe Andino.
So he rides it as far in as possible so he can get over to that toilet bowl section and around it and catch the escalator back out. And you see him ride into this wave. He's looking for a big section, but late to the party, not what he wanted. He's just gonna go, okay, I'll reset. I know where I'm at in the lineup now. I know where my priority is going to sit. And then he rode in, and now he just kind of slipped around all the way to the inside. There he is. And he just is going to get sucked back out, and then that escalator ride, because the current takes him right there.
Keanu Asing finds a medium-sized wave. Big snap. Start us off, and he'll make his way back into the lineup. So if you're trying to pick, a favorite to win the Hawaiian Pro, you're thinking of guys like Michel Perez, John Florence, maybe even Kolohe Andino. Did anyone mention Peterson Crisanto? Well, this is where dark horses rise, and we're seeing the rise of Peterson Crisanto right now on the beach with Rosie Hodge.
He definitely opened our eyes to what is capable out there. Everyone would, I mean, most people would come down on a day like today and think that the conditions are challenging. Pedersen, you made it look so easy out there. What did you see out there that other people wouldn't have?
It's really hard out there because the current is so strong and push you to outside. So you kind of like stay out like all the time, like paddling for the inside sections. And finally I find like two rides in the beginning of the heat, and I did a 7. And then I know I have a time before I wait for another one, so yeah, I have a look to get another 7 and wait for the next round.
All these heats are stacked. 2 championship tour surfers in that heat. Are you fazed by who you're going up against, or does it fire you and spur you on?
No, I just go, I just want to do my job and keep make the hits and show my surf for everybody.
46 on the rankings. Are you going to keep a close eye on the people falling out of the competition today, or are you going to go home and just do your thing?
No, I'm gonna go home, have a breakfast I didn't have yet, and then come back for watching my friend's heat, Michael. He's fighting for the qualifying, so yeah, we stay together. So I will be back for watch a couple hits and see what's going on.
Pedersen, well done. Enjoy your breakfast.
Heck yeah. Come support the homies. He's talking about Michael Rodriguez, who is in a great position to qualify this year. But hey, the story is, the book is wide open right now. I mean, it was written by Dusty Payne, who qualified for the championship tour, coming from 97th on the QS.
Here's a replay of a man who wants to do the same thing. Kieran Jabor trying to find some of that open face out there, and looked a little out of sorts on the end of that one, so he'll go back out and get going again. Kolohe pushing the tail hard, trying to find a combination on the inside. So Kolohe enjoying some time over here. He's over here. His dad's over here hanging out. I saw him surfing with Shane Beshin yesterday, doing some tune-ups. And there's our man in white, diving for the bowl.
Teixeira over the handlebars. 24:57 to go. With priority, it is Keanu Asing. I think Keanu Asing and Peterson Crisanto, similar approach. Really good at placing their turns in the proper spot. So watch for Keanu Asing to kind of pick the eyeballs out of the waves on offer here.
And the fact that Keanu has competed out here
a million times.
Countless amounts of times. So he knows the ways. He's going to identify something with a bowl on it.
Here he goes. And he finds just that. I mean, this isn't the best wave out there, but it's given him that open face. Let's get one turn, so most likely won't go into his scoreline, but Anytime you can get around and get yourself into that kind of little early conveyor belt, you see the guys outside fighting to stay in position. So if anything, this is going to put Keanu Asing in a good position to find the next good wave as he makes his way back out.
Yeah, the current is really pulling through, and traditionally, this is a wave where you have to deal with that current, and that's just something that you have to deal with. There's the New Era Qualifying Series men's rankings. So Rodriguez is who Crisanto was talking about, coming back and watching. Keanu Asing sitting at number 6.
And he can taste it. It's right there.
Oh, man, he wants back on bad. Let me tell you, he had a win in the year that he fell off tour. Can you imagine?
Bittersweet.
Can you imagine the yin and the yang of that gut feeling of taking an event down, beating somebody like Gabriel Medina in the final over in France? I mean, it was such a, heroic moment. Speaking of that, he did a huge alley-oop, I think, to take down Medina in France or in Brazil a couple of years ago as well. So Keanu Asing,
right now,
killer.
He wants to prove that he has what it takes to get back on.
Yeah.
23 minutes to go. Let's go down to the beach. Ian Folke has a look at some surfboards that these guys are going to be riding today. What do you got down there, Folke?
Yeah, Chris, I'm down here. I'm a full surfboard geek, so I've been handling all these guys' boards, just trying to figure out what they're riding. And a subtle difference today is the amount of fiberglass on these surfboards. You'll see Kieran Jabor's backup board here. He's in the heat right now. He's got an ultralight glass job on this, and Channel Islands typically does 3 glass jobs, a standard, ultralight, and team light. And in most normal conditions, these guys would be surfing a team light. It's just a single 4-on-4 glass. But these conditions, so much bigger and windier, we don't want to be buckling these boards. We want to be driving through the chop. So most of these guys have upgraded to more of an ultralight, which is 2 4-ounce glass jobs on top and 1 on the bottom. So still very agile, but just a little bit more for these conditions. So hopefully this board for Kieran won't get used. His board in the water will stay intact, but it is here in case he needs it. And also a lot of thicker leashes on these boards, as you see this board rack behind us. Most of these guys have upgraded off of their comp leashes and into something a little bit bigger, maybe in the 6.5, 7 foot range with a little bit more diameter to make sure that those things stay on their ankles, because it's only 30 minutes out there and there's a lot of current.
Folke, are you seeing guys increasing the size of their boards, riding some step ups, or are they still riding their general short boards?
Yeah, I think it's a little bit of a step up, probably not more than 2 inches for most of these guys, and you do see a lot of these pintails. So what they're doing is they're just kind of narrowing the tail down, make sure their fins can grip in at the bottom of these waves, added a little extra glass, maybe slightly bigger fins, but for the most part, they're just slightly adjusted shortboard templates. I mean, it's not huge out there. There's a lot of water moving, so just a little bit will get these guys pretty far. They're extremely fit.
They are fit, and we're seeing that right now with the amount of paddling that these guys have to do, Strider. I mean, everything is about positioning right now. As you see, second look at Teixeira, a little bit lost at sea right now. His second wave is a no-go as well. So Kolohe Andino getting the best of it with a 4 and a 3. Keanu Asing now in second. Here goes Kieran Jabor getting this wave with priority. It looks like a good one. Nice opening snap. Kind of caught behind a little bit there. So water moving fast, waves moving fast. It's going to take every bit of conditioning and all the work you've put in throughout the year in, more of the exercise element of what these guys do to train to really just even stay in the zone to take off.
Keanu Asing caught himself a 2-banger right here. Comes around the corner, gets a nice little turn off, and then finishes on the inside corner with a little float on the white water. Not a whole lot, but keeping that board moving. And then Kieran just looks like he had some good coffee this morning. He's just psyching. Look at that. Rah, rah, rah. He wants more. You can see it. He just wanted another section so bad. So if he gets a wave with 2 open sections, we could see him really open up, because he looks super fired up.
Look at these guys just paddling with everything they have to stay in the takeoff zone. Kolohe Andino's way out the back, and he is holding priority, so if he does take off, all the other surfers in the lineup have to give way. Still a lot of time, 19 minutes, 45 seconds to go. These guys are going to be absolutely gassed at the end of 30-minute heat. I mean, it doesn't matter if you're an Ironman triathlete, this will wear you down.
Well, the greatest part is that you can put the fittest guy in the world, Ironman triathlete, CrossFit, even a long distance runner, anybody. If they don't surf, they're going to get thrashed. And watching that and understanding that is interesting.
Toshetta getting back into it now. Nice little bowl on the inside. Looks like he did a backside snap judo kick. Brand new maneuver. I've never seen that.
It was pretty sweet surfing right there. Solid surfing, but the only way to get into shape for surfing, really, to me,
surf
is you have to be in surf shape. You got to surf.
Well, on days like today, you can't.
You can go
go
swimming.
back to the couch.
Swimming is about as close as you can get, right, to trying to stay in shape for surfing. But there's so many other things that play into it. There's the paddling, the actual riding the waves, the water knowledge, understanding the lumps and bumps, and which way the wind is blowing, which way the swell is coming in, you know, where the currents are going. There's so many different things that happen, and then what wave to catch.
Add the competitive element there.
Yeah, it's just, you know, you gotta surf to stay in tip-top surf shape.
So you're saying it's not easy to do what these guys are doing right now?
It is not, my friend. It is not. A lot of different things and aspects to read in the water.
A lot of
share a setup snap and then blast it straight up into it, right over the toilet bowl right there. It's so shallow where it came down. We're lucky not to lose a fin right there. So a quick little open face setup snap and then throws it up into the bowl, pretty vertical. Didn't even look back, just threw up the board. So
his feet were firmly planted. That was admirable, even making that second turn.
Gets the highest score of the heat for it, which isn't much, a 4.23.
So why is that? What did he do different than everybody else in this heat?
I feel like his surfing was, he had a little open face, it was clean, and a vertical section. So those are the sections that the judges really want to see committed to. And when you find a section of consequence and you actually throw the board up into it, you're going to get a score.
17 to go, Andino in the lead. This is a very tight heat. We have seen some high sevens go down. Judging panel just to the right of us. They're looking for scores between 0 and 10. 10, of course, being perfect. Highest and lowest scores of our 5 judges will be thrown out. So you average the 3 mid scores. It only takes 2 waves to make it out of these heats, but they got to be 2 gems. Because as you see right now, the score line, all the surfers, just a handful of waves each. So while it might look like a lot of waves coming through, they are tough to find, as Kieran Jabor finding a big snap to start that last wave. That is going to be a good score because you saw the controlled chaos in that first turn. That was exactly what Kieran Jabor wanted.
So we were talking about how psyched he looked on his other wave. Well, he takes off in the whitewater, comes around the corner, sees a little crumbly lip line, and just throws it up there. Comes completely around on the grab with it. Watch this. He sees a little lip line, and he just commits to it. And that's what the judges like to see. The fins come out the back, picks the nose, and then drops the tail back in, grabs the rail for security to make sure he's coming out of it, and then puts it up for a 2-for-1. Finishes off on that inside. That should be the highest score of the heat right there.
Judges agree. A 5-5 for Kieran Jabor for those 2 snappy turns.
Yeah, see, I like that.
You wanted some more.
I wanted more. I almost went. I almost
6-5.
went. Yeah, almost a point higher, just because I like the commitment and even the finish turn right out of it, the flow. So.
Well, I think what the judges are allowing here is for something big to come through. So he did get the highest single wave score of the seat of 5.5. So they're opening up the top of that scale. Let's say if you would have done that on the wave, maybe 2 more feet,
bigger
on
wave,
the face, you know, then he would have probably been looking at a 6.57.
Yeah. Well,
so they're leaving some room for improvement.
I like it. I like it.
So Kieran Jabor now your leader. Chloe Andino in second. Toshetta third. Asing in fourth. Dusty Payne will be coming up in the next heat. Ooh, that's a great heat. Federico Moraes, Iago Dora, Dion Atkinson, and Dusty Payne. A big one.
So we're into the big leagues right now. We got some
names are dropping.
Some home run hitters coming up to the plate, and it's going to be fun to watch.
Kieran Jabor again getting into a good cycle here, straight off the top, straight off the bottom into the lip. It's almost like you're not even searching for the lip out here. I feel like Kieran was lucky to get a nice lip line on that last wave, but to me the big opportunity is with those open face carves. So we'll see if some of these guys can find some open face. There are needles in this big, scary haystack. Keanu was saying they have just found one. So 2 quick turns. That second section was not one to tussle with. He goes down. 13 minutes, 55 seconds go. We're going to take a quick break. We'll be right back. Can Karan Jabor hang on to this lead? You'll have to wait and see. You're watching the Hawaiian Pro. Stay tuned. Welcome back to the North Shore of Oahu. This is the Vans Triple Crown of Surfing, the ultimate gauntlet for these surfers to fight through. The Hawaiian Pro right here at Ali'i Beach Park. From here we go to Sunset Beach for the Vans World Cup, and then the final stop on the championship tour, as well as stop number 3 on the Vans Triple Crown of Surfing, the Billabong Pipe Masters.
There he is, Dino Andino. Kalohe Andino's dad, and
on the app for sure.
He's on the app, watching timing, checking scores, making, back and forth, checking the position in the heat, who's got what. And Kalohe Andino dropped a 6.5. We have to catch up on that.
Here it is. Your wish is our command. Strider.
Off the bottom, shracks the corner, nice speed flow into that. A little late to the party right there, so does he get anything else off on the inside? He does. Wow, regains the open face, but waves a little flat. So,
well, that first turn illustrated the point that I was making earlier about these guys are looking for the open face kind of bowl section. He did a beautiful arcing carve, and I feel like that was the meat of that score.
And it was definitely just a little bit better than Karan Jabor. So you were right, leaving a little scale.
All right, here goes. Wow, that was a quick kind of boomerang off the bottom for Keanu Asing, who had to make that decision right or left. Didn't pan out for him. Keanu Asing within striking distance. Needs a 4.96.
Yeah, doesn't need much, does he?
A 4.95. So Kalohe Andino with that 6.5 gets the lead. Karan Jabor drops to second. Keanu Asing in third. And, the point of the app, the WSL app to me and people watching at home, it's kind of like going to a, NFL game. You're there, the excitement, you hear the crowd, you can hear the roar of the ocean, but a lot of times you don't know exactly what's going on. So I like what Dino's doing there. Yeah. He's here, he's getting the vibe, but he's also
catching up on the scores.
Here's Kalohe Andino's year. Very sporadic finishes, but they see the big 9th in the 2nd place at the beginning of the year, and then he dropped to 13th and a 25th. A little bit of a slide through the mid portion of the year, then bam, right back up into those top finishes for Kalohe Andino. So he's safe on the championship tour. He's 8th place right now.
Look at that, he's watching the app. He was just watching Keanu's wave right there. So the app probably a couple, maybe 30 seconds behind what we have.
Aloha, Dino.
Sometimes right on it. And, it's the best because he's actually getting all the scores and watching the heat. So he's just exactly what you were saying. He's at the game. He's listening to the roar of the water.
That's like listening to your transistor radio and your earpiece at the football game. You're getting the best of both worlds.
Wow.
But do people still have transistor radios?
I don't know. That was pretty deep, though. You went way back.
Oh, that's, beautiful thing about this is you can really Get a lot of information by watching what's happening. Here we go. Rafael Teixeira battling back from obscurity in this heat. Nice combination of maneuvers. Well done.
I feel like he was almost trying to fit too much in on the end there, but definitely, you know, he's still only looking for a 4.15, so we'll see if he can come away with it.
Loya trying to seal the deal here. Big layback hack. Didn't quite ride it out, but I love the look of that turn.
Well, it was great. A lot of aggression and speed. These conditions, as bumpy and lumpy as they are, they're opening up the opportunity. You're going really fast, really quick. With a lump in front of you coming at you, woo!
If you want to get excited to surf waves like this, I got 2 throwback sections for you to watch to do your homework. Justin Poston in Momentum 2 and Shane Powell in Momentum 2. Both surfers put together incredible parts in windy, choppy waves like this.
Here's Teixeira off the top. Lip lines it right there, and then kind of goes for the 2-for-1 right here. Really commits to that bottom turn. Finds the lip line, pushes a little far out the back there. Hits up into it again. So good work. And then your surfer in green, Kieran Jabor, goes for a 2-banger as well behind him. So Kieran trying to hang in there, making sure he secures the second position as Rafael's score is going to drop. This is going to be interesting because Rafael's definitely going to get a better score. And then we'll see what Kieran's score comes in at. And will they flip-flop again? Because Rafael's going to go into second place, but then we're going to wait for Kieran's score. So much happening.
That's a lot of math.
Yeah.
Speaking of math, here's your New Era qualifying series men's rankings. Keanu is seeing right now. He had a win at the Barbados Pro, which was a QS 3000. So that got him 3,000 points. He had a 9th place at the Bolido Pro, which was at 10,000. He also won the Vans Pro. So a couple of wins, but you really need to get those big results in a QS 10,000. Those are the numbers that are really going to count. This is a crucial heat for Keanu Asing. And now he finds himself in 4th place.
And we just saw Ezekiel Lau fall out, which is just devastating for his campaign as well. So he'll have to come back and rethrow for the ball over at Sunset Hawaiian Pro. There we go. If you win this thing, 10,000 points. Woo!
That's halfway there. I mean, that is halfway to qualification. So Keanu Asing, he needs to make at least the quarterfinals here to improve on his throwaway score, that 3,000 pointer.
Well, he needs a 7.20 right now. That things are heating up. You got Kolohe and Kieran dropped a 7.33, which is solid, putting him up into the lead.
And here's Keanu Asing knowing full well what's at stake in this heat. Under 6 minutes to go now. Kieran Jabor jumps to the lead with a 7.33. Surfing, Kieran Jabor really got into this event by surfing in the Hawaiian / Tahiti Nui region, focusing on those events and doing some events, other events around the world, but he was a local threat for sure. Keanu Asing now.
He was just a little off there on the replay. You can see him just trying to put that wave together and it just never really found the rhythm.
Teixeira. Quick snap, setting it up. Big section in front of him, goes into the whitewater and rides out. Somewhat clean.
4.37. This is great because this action has been happening quite a bit at the end of these heats where it just really fires up, and that's what we want to see is a lot of waves right at the end in 5 minutes and watch this thing just go crazy, just like those last couple of heats.
It all comes down to this. 5 minutes to go. Kieran Jabor in the lead. And Dino in second. Teixeira in third. Threatening. Keanu Asing needing 7.20. There you see he's waving his arms, trying to figure out. He knows where he's sitting in priority because you can see there's a visual, a color coding system that you can see from the lineup. But now these guys want their scores. Kolohe Andino's dropped to third. And Teixeira gets the score to jump him into second place.
This is the craziest thing, is that with that north wind blowing out from the back, it's really hard for them to understand or hear what the beach commentators are saying. So with that, they're out there waving their arms, and even if they hear them, oof, this is the recap right here. Sorry to cut myself off there.
This is a wild heat.
Just watching these guys go nuts in the lip. Kieran was full aggression right there. And then Teixeira finding himself that little inside nugget right here. He got himself a 6.27 right here off the top again, and then gets the 2 for 1 on the inside. Couple of quick little hits. Solid surfing right there. And then this is the big score, the 7.33 through the roof, throws the tail straight back up into it, comes down.
Fully warranted. That was incredible surfing under duress right there.
It was solid surfing. That was a big score.
That first turn was insane.
It was lightning fast.
Speed, power, flow, Strider. Speed, power, flow. I mean, he could have used a little bit on the flow portion, because it was on the edge right there. That was. I mean, I loved the catapult that he had on that turn. Kieran Jabor in the lead. Teixeira, the dark horse, coming from the depths of the QS, all the way to second place here in round 3, heat 4. Kolohe Andino, the top seed coming into this heat, in third. Keanu Asing needs the points, needs the momentum to continue his drive toward potential requalification.
That's a big score necessary for Keanu. That would be the biggest score of the heat so far in order for him to get into the driver's seat here. Yeah, right. I think Crisanto got a 7.5 that we saw, but it's going to be a big score for sure nonetheless.
Andy's in third priority, which means he is near the back of the line when it comes to
which could
waves he could pick. And here goes Kolohe Andino pulling the trigger with priority. Got a nice first section to work with. Big steering carve. Kicking the tail out straight into the lip. Little free fall there. And he likes it.
Yeah,
all right, he needs a 4.6. I think he's got it.
Yeah, he's definitely going to get the score. You can see the physical gesture there going, you know, he needed that. And the feeling inside is that he's not here to requalify. He's here to win a Triple Crown, you know. And this surfing right here up into the corner, nice quick snap, and then finds the lip line for the float to finish.
Has San Clemente ever had a Triple Crown winner?
Not a huge commitment on this last turn. Hold on, let's get through this replay real quick. Look at this turn. He's feeling really good right now. And there's a lot of confidence flowing through his body. So that's solid surfing, and that's what the kind of Kolohe we want to see. I don't think there's ever been a Triple Crown winner from San Clemente, no.
Live action, huge wave for Keanu Asing. Big snap. Now he needs a 9.37 Strider. That is a almost insurmountable effort that he's going to have to put through to get a near perfect score.
Especially with 47 seconds left and he's paddling out through the toilet bowl. But you have to admit, he has done some amazing things against some big players, but right now it's going to be a little tough.
I'm looking at the past Vans Triple Crown of Surfing champions, and I don't see anybody from the San Clemente area, so.
I can tell you what though, all of those guys who have won Triple Crowns have hung out in San Clemente.
There you go, yeah, that's true. Even Michael Romels, back in 1997. 15 seconds to go, unfortunately, for Keanu Asing. Now he's going to have to look towards Sunset Beach if he wants a shot at those big US 10,000 points. Rafael Teixeira, I'll tell you what, a solid run through the Hawaiian Pro. Got to give this guy a lot of credit. Put on a great show. But Kieran Jabor, North Shore local, getting the win, and Kolohe Andino getting the second place finish on the strength of his last wave. More to come here from the Hawaiian Pro. Let's bring in Kaipo Guerrero and Pete Mel. Welcome back to the Hawaiian Pro. We're in day number 3, round number 3, the round of 64, where we see all of the top seeds come into play. And we got another big heat type of girl along with the Condor, Peter Mel. And this is going to be an entertaining heat. We got Federico Moraes, Iago Dora, Dion Atkinson, who's been in great form here throughout competition, and Dusty Payne, all coming your way in this heat. The wind continues to blow, and we're going to set this heat with a Portuguese surfer, Brazilian surfer, Australian, and a Hawaiian surfer from Hawaii, all in the mix here. And we go to live action. Dion Atkinson, the big man from South Australia. And just a little tap before he kicks out.
Not much of a change, Kaipo. It's still blowing, still current ripping across the lineup, still challenging conditions. We've seen flip-flop, very close heats throughout these first 3 this morning. You know, reflecting upon the first heat that we called, very close between Nat Young and, well, live action.
Live action, Federico Moraes. Looks like he's got no problem in the wind. Big snap, followed up with another one. And again, just having the fins bite into the lip there with that last snap. So Federico Moraes off to a great start.
We've seen that before, haven't we?
Right, he's had a great year so far on the championship tour on the Jeep leaderboard. He's ranked 13th, and on the New Era qualifying series rankings, he's also ranked number 13th. He's going to be on tour either way next year.
Yeah, it could be a double qualifier, you know, and that's always a good feat when you can do it on both tours. But look at that, nice combo on the outside section, and then just exclamation point at the end of it. There's that first turn. That's that carve that has been such a big part of his success on the championship tour. And then here again, and one of the things I really like about what Federico has been able to do, we'll get back to that. This is the replay here of Iago Dora, who will be on the championship tour next year. Quick way for him. But what Federico's been able to do is that, yeah, he's known that that snap's going to be something that's going to be a big point getter for him. But he's also been trying to mix it up now and realizing that's Richard Marsh, who's been kind of influencing him in trying to show a bit more variety. And he's been, you can see it, visibly see that he's been trying to mix up his maneuvers now. And that's exactly what he had to do. You always got to refine, and he's been able to do that. Yeah, he came through on that first wave. But another guy that came through, a local danger man, Kiran Jabor, is down with Rosie Hodge. We're going to get to that in a second because Federico Moraes, now we can get down to Rosie Hodge with the last heat winner, Kiran Jabor.
He is on a roll. 3 heats already advanced through Kieran. That's got to feel good to get the ball rolling. Already your best result in a Cures 10,000. Yeah, I haven't had any good results in the 10,000s this year, so I started doing those smaller events to get me back in the 10,000s, and I'm back in, and now I'm just like trying to get a good result at home and stoked to be home surfing. And even though it's like the bumpiest Haleiwa I've ever surfed, and everyone like just forget everything you know about Haleiwa and restart today because it's completely different. And I was just stoked to get through and get the better waves of that heat, I guess. And it was hard because my really good friend Keanu was in that heat, and I know he's in the cusp to qualify, and like so I wanted him to make it through too. Because of that, I was rooting for him too. But stoked to get that win, and yeah, looking forward to the rest of the event. And talking about Keanu, thinking back to your junior careers, you probably had a lot of heats with Keanu and Kalohe and Dino, a bit of deja vu out there at Haleiwa. Oh yeah, like Kalohe actually used to come over and do the NSSAs for a while over here, so we were all competing out here when we were in the NSSAs and juniors and everything, so it's definitely a deja vu and like, but in the future. And we're looking at your backup board while you're in that heat. Do you want to give us a little background on what you're riding out there? Yeah, I opted, so this morning I surfed on a 6.1 Rook 15, and then I tried my 6.3 SP12, and which I like in Haleiwa really good when it's bigger, and then it felt too long, so I opted to go 6.1, and it felt good for how tight and windy it is. Stoked I chose the 6.1. Kieran, keep up the great performances. We'll see you in the next round. Back up to you guys. Thank you. And you saw Kieran, he touched on he had to surf on some of the smaller events, and to review that, this is a 10,000 of the qualifying series. This is the big number, but we have qualifying series events all the way down to 1,000 points, 1,500 points. We'll get back to some more of the math as we take a look at
the backup score for Federico Moraes, just a 1.97. Peter, you had something to say.
Well, I was just going to mention that, you know, he had touched on the fact that he rode his, he went to a step up, and we had kind of made the analysis that we thought that riding a bigger board was going to be a better thing, where Huron went the opposite direction, you know, and I think that that's something where he was able to try both boards this morning and realizing that to do your maneuvers, you know, you had to do them in really tight areas. So he sacrificed the fact that having to less paddle and to try and smooth things out to be able to fit the maneuvers into those little tight areas, and it paid off for him. So that's something to take note of, at least there, because our analysis, or at least mine, was, hey, ride a bigger board. But he did the opposite. He went back to a shorter board, and it paid off for him, takes the win. Wow.
Well, the quiver grows. Maybe the perfect hybrid would be a really thick shortboard today.
Yeah, like a gigantic shortboard.
A paddler, but then didn't have a lot of, you know, rail length, so that you're not going to purl and you're able to fit into fairly tight convexes here with this wind-chattered swell.
Well, and that's it. So your canvas, the area that you want to be able to do your maneuver, is going to be in between chops. It's not necessarily going to be a place that you can use that longer board with that longer rail. You know, looking at Federico too, I mean, he's a bigger guy. It looks like he's riding like probably a shortboard that's you know, got a pintail on it, so it's a more positive shortboard.
A couple of heartbreaks you could see in the top 10 there on the New Era rankings board. In number 6, Keanu Asing's gone down. Number 9, Ezekiel Lau's gone down. 2 surfers from Hawaii who really needed results here at Haleiwa, and they're going to put it all on the line when we get to the second jewel of the Vans Triple Crown, the final qualifying series contest of the year, the Vans World Cup at Sunset. So the heat's going to be on.
Well, and if you look at what Keanu had to do here, I mean, he's carrying a 3,000 in his scoreline. And in order to better that,
he's a quarterfinal.
Yeah, he needs to make it to the quarterfinals, which is a big feat. You know, it's not easy to do. So he's going to have to go to Sunset Beach, and he's going to have to put it together. And that'll help a lot. I mean, just getting to the quarterfinals, what is it? The low score is a 3,800, I think, right? No, 3,600. So it only adds 600 points. So it's almost feel like, you know, you want to see him make the semis.
Keanu's already had a bunch of big results, as we see Dion Atkinson, and he's had success. He's won 3 qualifying series events this year, Keanu Asing. So he's already set the bar for himself that he's going to need to improve upon. And that equals, like you said, Pete, if he wants to secure himself, he needs a really, really outstanding performance through a series of heats at Sunset Beach.
Yeah, well, I mean, his averages is great. I mean, he's got 3,700. He's got 2 of them. He's got a 3,550, and then carrying 2 3,000 points in his 5 results that count for the entire season. So he's got to better one of those 3,000 points in order to increase his total, which is at 16,950.
We're going to see the pride of Portugal, Federico Moraes, on the 2018 Championship Tour, because he's done rock-solid surfing just like that. He's our heat leader. Dusty Payne, one of the giant success stories in the history of the Vans Triple Crown of Surfing. He wants to get back on that dream tour. He's done it before via the Vans Triple Crown of Surfing. Can he do it again in 2017? We're going to find out in the next 20 minutes.
First 10 minutes of this heat has belonged to Federico Moraes. Started off with that 767. His backup now is going to be replaced with that last wave. Everyone else in this heat hasn't really even scored a wave over a 3. Let's take a look here at this last one for Federico. First turn, always good when he comes out of the lip, carrying so much speed. You know, he never really slows down out of his maneuver, and that helps him to keep that momentum down the line. Again, snapping in the lip, the vertical section there, but see how he stops it short and doesn't even have to pump into the next section. And then this toilet bowl, he's done that where he literally does not push off the bottom turn. He lays the bottom turn over, so he's not trying to gain a ton of speed because he's already carrying a ton of speed. And he literally just lays that rail over and then places it right on the toilet bowl. Again, carrying that speed and momentum through the maneuver. And so he always kind of finishes out in front of the explosion and doesn't, you know, he rarely falls in that toilet bowl section.
Well, we saw Federico Moraes just last year surf to a runner-up finish here at the Hawaiian Pro, and then followed up at Sunset with another runner-up finish. Hawaii's got to be a special place in Federico's heart, because basically Hawaii got Federico on the 2017 Championship Tour.
I mean, he carries a ton of, he's always surfed well here. You know, he comes from Portugal, a lot of swell in Portugal. has a lot of power in the ocean there, so he can translate that experience over to here to Hawaii. Plus his build, you know, he's a bigger dude, so he's able to kind of handle the bigger conditions nicely. And matter of fact, it gives him that extra push, and he likes, you know, he likes that extra power.
Big guys like Hawaii. That's why Peter Mel likes Hawaii. Because the condor is a big bird.
Manu Nui.
Manu Nui. You got it. Great job, Pete. So it's been all Federico Moraes so far as we look at the qualifying series and how exactly it works. Top 10 from the 2017 qualifying series will qualify for the 2018 Championship Tour. How do they get that ranking? We take their best 5 results of the year goes towards their new era ranking.
Yeah, and if you look at the WSL, you know, the worldsurfleague.com, they actually have a rankings page, and it spells it out really clear. It actually, you see the rankings there, and then it shows you the 5 best results, and it's like color coded for, you know, the best results are a little brighter orange. So it's really easy to understand how these 5 results come to play. It gives you a total. So again, it's pretty spelled out. So
Love
you
it.
just go to worldsurfleague.com, look at the website there. It's got it all.
Iago Dora, currently number 3 on that new era rankings. We're going to see the skinny goat into the championship tour next year. Oh, he was killing that wave, and then the board struck back right at that final maneuver. Looks like he's okay.
It's funny.
Looked a little sketchy.
Yeah, you see that stuff happen a lot. And generally, you're able to quickly get your hand up and block it. But when you see it live, you're like, ooh, gosh, that looked like he just bopped him in the head. But pretty much you usually get your hand up there and stop it. We'll take a look at the slow-mo, the replay there, and see if it does actually connect to his noggin.
Yeah.
But he's having a struggle here. He really hasn't put anything together. This is the replay here. Again, this wave off that end section, so he's going to have the opportunity. But the closeout section, that final move can always be tough because the wave is breaking at you, especially with this north England swell. As it comes out of that deeper water in the channel and sweeps back at it, especially with the current pulling at you as well, it just kind of adds a little extra power and punch to those end sections.
Yeah. It's a deep channel right to the left of us in Haleiwa. Iago Dora back up and riding, unfazed, but no more open face after that first little backhand check. Realizes that he's going to kick out, and you can see the surfers again. We've been talking about all morning the current and a constant paddle. We'll wait to see what those scores come up for. Iago Dora will be back with more of the Hawaiian Pro. Stick with us. We got great stories, and we're going to get through the entire third round today. And let's take a look back to 2016 and the pride of Portugal, Federico Moraes, with a great performance here at the Hawaiian Pro.
That's right. He was amazing. It was so consistent. It felt like he could take his round 1 performance and put it all the way into the finals performance, and they would have looked exactly the same. He just put up big numbers. Was so consistent, so powerful. Look at him go. I mean, and how was the swell for this event? It was one of the better Haleiwa events we've had in a while.
Just beautiful surfing, feeling it, and that's not a claim. That's just
feeling.
That's a claim.
Great surfing.
No, that was a claim.
You thought that was a claim?
Yes.
I thought he was just saying, what's up?
Yeah, a claim.
But not necessarily like, give me the score. He was just like, I know I got the score. What's up?
Yeah, a claim.
Okay.
If he didn't do anything, just kind of like, that's a claim too. No claim.
We'll see. Well, we can. You know what? Let's learn more about Federico Moraes. We saw his performance there, and he's got a great coach in his corner that's been with him for years. With a great sounding board, great advice. Richard Dog Marsh, he's a former championship tour competitor, and we got a dog with Rosie Hodge right now, Peter.
Very instrumental in Federico Moraes' success, and Dog, it's a bit of nostalgia sitting here in Hawaii watching Federico compete at the moment. Obviously, this is the venue where he was able to do a lot of damage and get that place on the championship tour.
Yeah, it's kind of Groundhog's Day. We're a year older though, hopefully a year wiser. But no, it's nice to be back, and he's picked off where he left off, you know. He's had a really good first wave, and his backup wasn't too bad either, so it's been a good start to the heat.
And that's something I noticed with Federico. He is so consistent to get a great score in the beginning of the heat. Is that something you guys work on?
Definitely. Look, out there today, that wasn't a major focus though. I think the waves were really hard to pick, the good ones. So I asked him just to go a little bit deeper than the other guys and just take a bit more of a chance on a little bit more on the inside. I feel like the guys are sitting a little bit wide at the moment, being a bit defensive. He's in the luxury position where he doesn't have any pressure on him. He's already re-qualified this year, so you know, this is just a long-term goal of his, is to win the Triple Crown, and so he's here chasing that goal, and it means he can take some risks.
You mentioned that it has been a year. How proud are you of his performance this year and just the way that he's grown?
Look, I'm really happy to see him grow. I think that's the right word too. It's a really daunting first year on the tour. It can either sort of beat you, or you can get on top of it and make it a really positive thing, and he's done the latter, and he's learned on the way, and had a couple of hard results, and a couple of results go his way too. So yeah, look, it's been a positive first year.
Dog, as always, thanks for your time. Back to you boys for live action.
Thank you, Rosie, and great insight from Richard Dog Marsh. Federico Moraes sitting 13th on both the qualifying series and the championship series, like he alluded to. So this guy wants to be back, and geez, looks like he started off with a great opening maneuver, just getting caught up there. That's Dusty Payne we're talking about. He's another success story here at the Vans Triple Crown of Surfing. Dusty Payne going from 97th coming into the Hawaii season to 10th. That was in 2014 and got Dusty on the championship tour. So we got actually two, late run qualifiers in this heat in the way of Federico Moraes as well as Dusty Payne. Dusty paddling in, maybe a repositioning, or is it equipment change? We'll stick with this to get the story.
Yeah, so you wonder, there could have been a buckled board, a fin, or he may not even like the way the board's feeling. So there's a lot of options here. Looking like he's got
just tell him
a couple.
Take the 6-1 and just make it work. Yeah.
Wow, look at the decision being made almost by the coaches there too.
Up and out by our heat leader, Federico.
And that's good, because I think that both those guys, they obviously know what Dusty's been riding. They've been paying attention to the free surfs and understand how each board's going to work.
Hey, you got 10 minutes. You got 10 minutes. You got 10 minutes. You need a 2-5-1 after that last wave. You got it, Dusty.
So great little listening right there. They're giving Dusty instructions. They're telling him what he needs. They're telling him the time as he's hitting the pit crew on the beach.
I think there was a little read of the fact that there was some frustration there. He saw that the board, ripping the board out of the hands, feeling a little frustrated because it hasn't gone his way so far in this heat. But he's got to understand it's really close for second, right? It is a matter of him getting back out into position and grabbing one good wave, and he's back into second, no problem. And so, kind of as a tone you can see from Shibata was just like, hey, it's all good. You could read between the lines.
Here's current second place holder in this heat, Yago Dora, choosing a left and doing a good job, getting a couple times up in the lip. Smooth through this. This left's actually giving him a lot of opportunity. Nice finish. He may even get this inside double up for another bonus. Lip bang there, Yago Dora.
Amazing read. That was truly amazing read. You don't want to necessarily put yourself going with the current, But he did that, and now he's going to use that little conveyor belt on the inside. If we can get a pulled back view and kind of see where he's at, you'll see that there is that current that slightly pulls the opposite direction, and he'll move right on out. Let's take a look at the replay first. Again, that first connection with the lip, so important, and he gets it twice on that outside section. First time we've seen an actual left that's going to score pretty well. So again, trying to, you know, that's almost in a way, you know, the fact that he's a little naive to this place, that you could go, okay, wait a minute, I see an opportunity on the left here. Generally, people would just shy away from it because they don't think it's going to score very well, but this thing has paid off big time for Iago Dora, and now that job for Dusty Payne and Dion Atkinson will be a little bit harder.
A lot harder. Dion, big carve for the big man out of Australia, back up into the lip again. So Dion putting a couple moves together, unable to ride through that final, just trying to get to the lip a little bit too late, but a couple of nice turns. The big story is going to be where Iago Dora's score goes on that last left, and that's really going to set the pace for both Dusty Payne and Dion Atkinson. Iago running up with his dad, Leandro, who's a surf coach, a world-class surf coach in his own right.
So you've actually had two coaches being able to talk to their athletes, and they're battling for that second position.
And meanwhile, you're talking about, you know, the temperature or the mood of the surfer. Dusty seeing a little frustrated. We saw Dion just now running with a smile. Actually, he got some words from Pops.
Iago? Yeah,
I mean, I'm sorry, Iago. Iago running with a smile, actually, as compared to, you know, what I saw was
a score.
Yeah,
I mean, that'll do it, right? One good wave.
6.9 is what he got. So Iago Dora in second place, a stronger second place. Dion Atkinson on his last wave of 5.6 moves into third place. Dion needing a 5.74 to get into second and advancing position. Dusty Payne falls down to fourth place. Dusty now needing that 7.73.
Very distinctive change in regards to those last two waves, because now Dusty's going to have to put it together and in probably 2 waves.
All right, well, let's check down at the beach. We got Rosie Hodge. She's roving around, and she's got probably some info on Dusty's equipment. Rosie.
Well, that's the thing. I mean, and you just touched on it, Capo, just the body language of both of the surfers running up the beach. Iago with a smile on his face, looking light, looking loose. Dusty, when he came in, he's intent. He looks like he's fired up to get a better wave on the board at the moment. But just looking at this board, you can see a little bit of a buckle right there just in front of the fins. He actually switched it up. You know, Dave Riddle, Jason Shibata, they brought down two boards, and Dusty made the decision to stick to the board that he's been riding. It's the same backup as this one right here. It's a 6.0, so just a slight step up for Dusty. And yeah, just that buckle just in front of the fins, making that decision easy for him to switch out that equipment.
Thank you, Rosie. And there you go. So explanation of the equipment change and a little bit different board on the Dusty Payne's feet. He's third in line priority-wise, and he needs a 7.73 to get into second place.
So you figure how much time did that take? It probably took upwards of 3 minutes to get that complete change to happen. As you took at the recap, you know, what a start for Frederico. I mean, one of the better waves you've seen this morning is 7.67. That'll settle any nerves if he had any. You know, being that he's in a position where he can, you know, go for a triple crown without having to worry about qualification has put him in a great position in Hawaii here, because this place is obviously close to his heart. And when you can surf with that much confidence and that much ability, you would have to say that he is a triple crown threat. This was the left that turned it around for Iago Dora. You know, he had a 4.43 on a wave that he ended up falling on, but this one here milks a left all the way to a 6.9, and now has put himself in a solid second position. Just looking for a backup to the 4.43, but if you look at the point totals there, 11.33 for today is a pretty good point total.
Back to live action, and everything keeps on going Frederico Moraes' way. Big whooping carve there by Frederico. Just looking so on point in challenging conditions, and it's no problem for the Portuguese surfer, the pride of Portugal, Frederico Moraes. He could just come in right now.
So sure on his feet. He really is. It's rare that he falls. You know, these right-handers just, you know, right up his alley. I mean, you look at his successes for this season on the championship tour. You know, J-Bay, you know, perfect J-Bay, by the way.
Yeah.
He went out there and lit it up. Well, and had a runner-up finish.
I think the Portuguese surfer, he's been so dominant in this heat. I think he can come in already. You know, he's got 4 minutes left. This happened during the recap. This is Dion Atkinson.
So Dion has the 5.6 in his scoreline, so could catch up to Yago here if he keeps this wave together, and so far so good. So this will definitely better his low score, which he carries right now in a scoreline of 2.27. But he's looking for a 5.74 to overtake Yago Dora. And then the last wave, look at this gouge. Raw. That's the kind of turns that he has been putting on rail all year long. The judges have been eating that turn up. Again, great rhythm. So another great wave from Frederico, you would have to say, with this maneuver here. But look at this rail sink all the way around. Gouges in there, carries a ton of speed through the maneuver. Even with the slow-mo, he was still loaded up with speed. So you'd have to say, it feels like to me that this will better the 6.17 and extend his lead. But it comes down to that last one from Dion Atkinson. Is an important score.
5.74. Dion Atkinson, we're waiting on that score. The requirements all in the blue column in the corner of your screen. That's what the surfer needs to advance to second place, because we take the top 2 out of each heat. The surfer in second place, that need is what he requires to go into first place. Dion Atkinson does get the score. 5.8 for Atkinson. He moves into second 8.
0.06.
That's how it works, right?
0.06. That's 600ths of a point. Barely gets there. Now Yago needs a score.
Yeah, Yago needs a 4.5. He's got 2 minutes to do so. Yago Dora sitting in second priority underneath first priority of Dusty Payne. You can see Yago paddling in this rip, in this current on the right-hand side of your screen in the blue jersey. He's going to have to put himself in position. Will he choose another left? Will he choose a right? Here we go with Yago Dora. He's going to go right. Waits. Little foam glide there. He kicks out. That's not going to be the 4.5, and the clock continues to tick down for Dora. Anxious times. Frederico Moraes, a little bit of a victory lap. He can come in, have some Portuguese sausage, Portuguese sweet bread, top it off with a malasada. We got a lot of Portuguese food here.
Yeah,
you know?
well, you can only get Portuguese sausage in Hawaii.
Right.
or in California, I guess you can get it too.
Yeah.
Can't get it in Portugal, though.
They call it chorizo, but it's the same stuff. It's ono. It's
I know it's ono. You love it. You love it with your eggs. I got you. And you show up in Portugal, watch out. Keep your Portuguese sausage locked up. Kaipo will be coming for it.
Buzz by.
You just changing the subject.
Nice little buzz by our Coast Guard.
Well, today's one of those days, man.
You actually want to have that helicopter up there
yeah,
today.
Exactly. I mean, you've got, any boats out there would be pretty brave, I think, with the conditions. And you have to worry about swell. We're on the rise. People coming out and taking a look at the ocean. It's so wild. You want to look at it. Next thing you know, someone could get swept out. So please.
Not a day for swimming.
Yeah. Keep yourselves up off the beach, up on the bluffs, and checking the action from up high.
You know what, Pete? I thought that wasn't going to be enough for Yago Dora. That one little foam glide was a 4.57. That was enough to get Yago Dora as that score dropped. That was enough to get Yago in second. So heartbreak right now for Dion Atkinson. Oh, it might have been the wave before that 4.57. That's the explanation. We'll review all those waves, but needless to say, Yago Dora is in second place. Dusty Payne.
I was going to be flabbergasted. What the heck?
Big air, unfortunately incomplete. Going for the Hail Mary, Dusty Payne. We're going to be back with more heats here at Haleiwa Ali'i Beach Park. We're at the Hawaiian Pro. Who are we coming up with next? We got Connor O'Leary, Jesse Mendez, Victor Bernardo, and Davey Cathos all the way. Stick around. Welcome back to the Hawaiian Pro, day number 3. We're here at Haleiwa in a wild and woolly Pacific Ocean. Right in front of you, contestable conditions, and we're moving to the next heat. Heat number 6 with Connor O'Leary, Jesse Mendez, Victor Bernardo, and Davey Cathles, a loaded heat. As we look to the green jersey with Davey Cathles, this was an important, Davey was another late leap story. In 2015, Davey Cathles went from 21st to 10th and qualified for the 2016 Championship Tour. We're looking at Victor Bernardo, who'd love to do the same here, and he's off to a pretty nice start there with a completion on his opening ride. Another replay, Pete.
Let's take a look here at blue, Jesse Mendez, who is leading the qualifying series rankings right now. And he has amassed a massive amount of points, so, you know, wanting to finish at that #1 position, obviously good for seeding, but also it's quite a feat to win the qualifying series throughout the season because there's so many good surfers. He's sitting at 25,400 points. He has, you know, a couple wins in the QS 6000s. Got himself a 5th at the 10,000, and also a 2nd place and a runner-up at the Maitland Port Stevens, which was a QS 6000. So a lot of his points actually amassed in the QS 6000s.
Yeah, Jesse Mendez, new face. He'll be a rookie on the 2018 Championship Tour, rookie on the 2017 Championship Tour, and he just won the heat. He's with Ian Folke. Federico Moraes continues great surfing in 2017.
Yeah, Federico, incredible surfing there. How does it feel this year after last year's back-to-back 2nd places at the Hawaiian Pro and the Vans World Cup of Surfing? You're solidly on the CT this year. Do you feel a little more relaxed, or do you still feel the same pressure?
No, way more relaxed, but at the same time there's goals, and I came here, you know, to try to match those results from last year. I know it's going to be super hard because it doesn't happen very often, but while we're here, the boards are feeling good. I just had a good hit, so yeah, stoked and bring on the next rounds.
And Rosie touched base with your coach, Rich Dog Marsh, up there, and he was telling you to sit deep in the lineup. Do you feel that paid off, and was it harder to execute than you thought it would be?
I think there's zones where you kind of feel like you're getting dragged outside with the rip, but there's others where you sit on the same spot. And I started deep, and I got that first good score, so I think it was worth it. Good call, dog.
And huge fan base in Portugal. Everyone probably is tuning in and watching right now. Anyone you want to say hi to back home?
Just to everyone, muito obrigado a todos pelo apoio, têm sido incríveis e vamos continuar. Obrigado.
A lot more coming from Federico in this event. Stay tuned. Back up to you guys.
Yeah, fans are staying up in Portugal. It's 8 p.m. there.
Perfect time.
And they're watching the world's best surfing coming to life here at worldsurfleague.com. Live action with Davey Cathles. Combos it up towards the end. Gets back up in the lip, so nice little start for Cathles. But, you know, Federico saying, hey, my boards are working good. He's riding some local equipment. He picked up a quiver of Glen Pang surfboards, and they look like they're the money.
Well, you see a lot of the guys. I mean, he's a rider for JS surfboards all year long, but you know, you come to Hawaii, it's a little different deal.
The smooth, silky backhand surfing of Jesse Mendez has really been one of the weapons that Mendez has had this year. We just illustrated in that last ride, and that's why he has such a big lead on the new era rankings. Some replays for us to go through, Pete.
Connor O'Leary, another one of those rookies on the championship tour, has been able to get himself a lot of success. Even in those bigger events, he and Federico are pretty much battling it out for Rookie of the Year. Here's Cathle's replay of that last one. Going to be his best wave to the start here in this 30-minute heat.
And watch this. I love just the flow here. That was a difficult opening maneuver.
Yeah, well, you can see he didn't have quite the punch off the bottom, so he didn't have a whole lot of speed going through that maneuver up the whitewash. It's so hard to do, and you don't have the speed. But again, he gets his rhythm back and stays with it and puts together a pretty solid wave to back up his 4.0. But maybe that is the 4.0. But he is confirmed to be right there onto the championship tour, so he's going to be joining his girlfriend.
Another power surfing couple. Tatiana Weston-Webb, she's going to be on the Women's Championship Tour in 2018. She's going to be joined by her boyfriend. They're able to coach each other when we have the men's and women's events together. I think that's a theme right now. We have the power surfing couples, you know, both on the broadcast team as well as in the water. It's like it's couples dance, man, here all over the World Surf League. Bernardo dropping into this one. Straight up through the lip there. Nice opening maneuver. Long delayed bottom turn. Has to ease through a cutback. Another hooking snap for Victor Bernardo. Gets back up in the lip and goes complete. So that's going to keep this heat nice and tight, because that's another great wave surfed by the young Brazilian Victor Bernardo. He opened up with a 6.77, and he's going to add to that.
He sure is, you know, and he waited out the back, got himself the priority, got himself on a set wave. And you had mentioned that long delayed bottom turn. It was almost, in a way, he kind of had to slough speed. He was just kind of holding the rail. He wasn't pushing too hard because he's riding a little bit shorter board. When you lay over right here, see that? He's just kind of nursing the bottom turn, but it was smart. You know, it didn't look like it was a nurse. It was just holding the rail just ever so slightly to keep that speed perfectly placed. You can't go too fast with these short boards, or else they're just going to fly out from underneath your feet. So well to control the speed. Again, good size set wave too. One of the bigger waves we've seen, especially in this heat here. He tags that first section, but look at just you know, tentative on the bottom turn, but he had to be, because of shortboard and that shorter design. If you push too hard, all of a sudden you could skip out. So he noticed that, made the adjustment, held the rail just so slightly, and kept the speed perfect through the maneuver.
Connor O'Leary back against the wall. Nice hook off the top. Comes around again. And just that patented O'Leary backhand hook coming into play. Little on the front foot there. Can't get over that lump and goes down. Couple of quality turns outside. But really, it was that last wave performance by Victor Bernardo that's going to set the bar, and it does. The bar gets set. Last wave for Victor Bernardo in the white jersey, a 7.43. He's in first, 7.43, and a 6.77. That adds up to 14.2 that you see in the corner of your screen. Big event for Bernardo, and you know what? He's not. He can still qualify for the 2018 Championship Tour. He's currently 55th place on the New Era rankings. So a couple of good finishes here, and he's on. Oh, the Wailua Surf Team showing up on site. That's a high school surf team from the local high school here.
That's pretty cool. They came with all the shirts on.
They're the Bulldogs.
In uniform.
Yeah, the Bulldogs.
You know, looking at Connor O'Leary, you know, he sits at number 78 on the qualifying series, but very comfortable on requalification on the Championship Tour. You know, and it's interesting when a surfer graduates to the Championship Tour, and generally if you're a rookie, you're going to be doing double duty, where you're going to spend, you know, a lot more travel time. You do, obviously, the Championship Tour, you're going to do all those events, but also you do the bigger events of the QS 6000, which Connor has done, but he really hasn't had great success. I mean, his best result to date was the Vans US Open, where he finished 17th.
Well, this guy's looking good to win the New Era qualifying series rankings. Jesse Mendez, he's currently in first. He's currently already qualified, and he's currently looking to advance out of this heat. His low score is a 4-point ride. We'll see if he bettered that on that last ride for Mendez. He had some thoughts there, though, Pete, on Connor O'Leary, in that he just put all his eggs kind of in one basket, right?
Well,
the Championship Tour.
Well, maybe mentally, right? Yeah. Because the fact was, he did go out on the QS, and he hit the QS 6000s, he hit the QS 10,000s, but really didn't have any great results. His best results came on the Championship Tour. So mentally, yeah, he was focusing heavily on that Championship Tour.
Victor Bernardo, he's got the highest single wave score so far, and he's working over another right-hander that just reformed perfectly for him. Timed that finish excellent. Little fist pump. He's looking to get rid of a 6.77 and increase the distance between the rest of the field. He's the only surfer right now in the double digits on a two-wave score. Here's that last of Bernardo.
So Bernardo, you know, when you get two good waves on your first two attempts in a heat, it just releases a lot of that stress. All of a sudden you'd surf a lot freer, which is what exactly happened for him here. You know, another good wave choice for him. He's a ton of maneuvers, opportunities on that wave.
Live action with Connor O'Leary. Big fin throw there. Quick snap on the backhand, but incomplete. Challenging conditions continue here, but it's such an assorted plate here, Peter, in that one wave looked very difficult for Connor O'Leary, but the waves that Victor Bernardo's been catching have been looking very easy to ride. Now, is that the surfer or is that the variety of waves out there?
I think it's kind of where you're catching the waves. I mean, if you can stay, and also we talk about rhythm and how important rhythm is. You know, a lot of times, especially here at Haleiwa, you'll like get in a nice little rhythm. You ride a wave, all of a sudden you just kind of kick out and float back into the lineup, and click, there's another wave for you. And that's kind of where it seems like Victor Bernardo has been able to do. He hasn't been staying in the lineup too long, and if you're in the lineup for too long, you're going to get pulled deeper and deeper and deeper. And it almost feels like you need to kind of come in a little bit. Like Frederico as an example, there was some good deep waves in that lineup, and he found it. And that's, again, wave selection. Where do you sit in relation to the lineup and what your general lineup is? And you may have to make adjustments. You know, today, I think Kieran Jabor said it best. He's like, everything you know about Haleiwa, throw it out the window and recalibrate it for the day, because it is a different lineup than everyone is used to out here.
Yeah, it is. It's so important. And you surf this wave a ton, Pete. You know that on your drift back out, when you're in that rotation, that's really, you know, you're able to get into that rhythm because you literally kind of paddle and drift back out. And you can get out of rhythm as well, right? You can get caught too far in this running current that you see illustrated on your screen and be put out of position if you're not in that rhythm.
That's so true. You know, and you're going to get some tide changes here throughout the day, which isn't, you know, a major tide difference in relation to other spots on the planet, but it does affect this lineup.
Davey Cathles, nice swoop off the top and just not happy with the wave for not giving enough opportunity for a second turn there. He's angry at the wave right there, as he should be, because he opened up with a really nice
That was a
top
prime
swoop.
example of a north swell. You know, it looked like it was going to have a nice wall in front of him, and then literally it comes out of the channel the opposite direction and shuts down on him. So he was only able to get that one move in before it closed out. And it is frustrating because you think, oh, this is a good wave. And then all of a sudden that north swell comes back at you. Let's take a look again. He's in that position. He goes, oh, this looks like a good one. Gets this carve in, and then north swell straight at him, opposite direction. But didn't have the time to get back up in the lip.
Live action with Connor O'Leary just finishing up. We'll catch up with that ride from O'Leary. O'Leary currently in third place. Needs a 6.04 to move into second. Still waiting on the last score of Davey Cathles with that one turn. He needed a 6.97 to go into second. And here's the replay of Connor O'Leary.
So see if this one gave him any vertical face, which it did. Just a quick float to kick out. Not really going to factor in for him.
Well, Victor Bernardo, things are going his way. We're halfway through the heat, and the little paddle and no-go by Connor O'Leary. Probably going to put him in the back of the line now. He's going to switch up priority. Third priority goes to Davey Cathles. Connor O'Leary in the back of the line. Cathles on that third priority goes for the whitewater roll and hoping that this wave stands up. Little check off the top, looking for more open face. Comes off the bottom. Vert there. Throws the tail a bit. Challenging, bumpy, lumpy, a bunch of curbs and wonk on that face, but Davey Cathles did a good job negotiating in between them.
Well, I think, you know, being that he was sitting in that fourth priority, rather than just struggle and paddle against that current, he's like, oh, I get an opportunity here. So he catches that whitewater section, but you're right, one of those first waves, you know, of a set, going to have that extra lump and bump involved. So a very difficult wave to ride, not going to factor into his top two.
13:15 on the countdown. And we're going to take a break while the waves take a break, but we'll be back with more surfing action here from the North Shore at the Hawaiian Pro. Taking a look back to 2016 in idyllic Haleiwa conditions and Connor O'Leary's performance out here on the back end. This is one of the events that got Connor on tour in 2017, Pete.
Yeah, it sure did. He had a really good beginning of the season, though, as well. You know, and he came here and performed in solid, perfect Haleiwa. I mean, this was a great event. There was good waves throughout from round one all the way through. So it's always good to see someone perform in those types of conditions. And, you know, sometimes you get these challenging conditions like we have today.
And while we were away, Jesse Mendez picked up a wave.
Well, again, he's trying to better that 5.6. And this first turn here, look at that. That's actually the second maneuver, or the final maneuver for Jesse. Nice work there. Gets a good finish and a great start.
Victor Bernardo got a wave too, Peter.
So already leading this heat with some good numbers. Nice. Oh, that's that section, man. And sometimes it is hard to keep that board under your feet.
Well, that replay for Jesse Mendez, that was a 7.03, so that puts the Brazilian in a solid second place. So the two Brazilian surfers in, Victor Bernardo as well as Jesse Mendez, looking the goods right now. Lots of pressure on Connor O'Leary, needing a 7.47, even more pressure on the other Australian in Davey Cathos, who needs an 8.4. So this Brazil versus Australian four-man matchup, the Storm is on top.
You can see where the positioning is in the lineup for Davey Cathos. Sits on that outside portion. He's got a good 10 yards outside. He's also got priority. And that second priority sits with Connor O'Leary. So they're in those power positions as far as if a good solid wave were to come their way. It's just a matter of if it comes.
When we talk about priority, the surfer with priority has the right to take any wave they choose. Surfers without priority can paddle and ride the same wave as long as they do not hinder the scoring potential of the surfer with priority. Taking a look at the WSL rulebook right there for the definition of priority.
And again, you look on the scoreboard there where the P is next to Cathel's name. The second, you know, so it's basically taking turns. So first turn goes to Davey, second to Connor, third to Victor.
You see the surfers, Victor Bernardo specifically in the white jersey, continues to wave to our onsite, our beach announcers for an update. And you know what? Jesse Mendez wants an update too. They want to know what's going on. They want to know their scores and priority. It's probably tough to hear with the onshore wind. What do you think, Peter?
You would guarantee that. That's the breeze like this. And this is an opportune time for those beach announcers to be able to give that information because there's no sets coming. Generally, you get that kind of line of sight. And the line of sight generally means that you can actually hear good too. So they're asking for the info.
Mendez carving a hook and gets into a little bit of wonk with the oncoming north, just all that refraction from the deep channel that you talked about earlier. This is actually, there's a giant seawall out here, right, in the channel between Haleiwa and the next break called Avalanche. That channel right there that's created by the Wailua River, there's a giant seawall. So it goes into very, very deep water between the two breaks.
And that's what makes this wave so unique. You know, you talked about the bathymetry of this, and it's very unique here because of that water and the way that it's carved out that huge channel. The fresh water has done that, and it created this reef here. But it's also the reason why it's such a world-class wave. It's because of that seawall. Literally, no waves are going to break in between that. And it just puts all of that swell straight onto a shallow reef, which creates this ruler edge right-hander. Generally, when you got a big west swell, this is one of the best right-handers here on the North Shore.
And that is really the beauty, and when you talk about bathymetry of the North Shore, is a lot of our channels here, and all of these breaks are created by little streams and rivers of fresh water that haven't allowed the coral to grow. So generally, you have a left on one side and a right on the other side of all these channels, and we have probably 12 channels from here to Sunset, creating those different breaks. That's why the North Shore is such an iconic spot.
Well, and if you look at one of the major rivers that are, you know, the Wailua River and the Haleiwa River, which really produce this reef because they come out on either side of this reef.
Yeah.
You know, it's almost created this little island. So, you know, the harbor, the natural harbor of Haleiwa created by that river there, which separates us from point to point. So we take a look at the replay here of Connor O'Leary carrying that speed through that first maneuver. Is he going to be able to better the 4.23. I don't think this is going to go into the score needed to get him to that 7.47, which will put him in second, but it may improve him. Although I might be eating my words because judges have put a big number up.
Judges, you know what? They devoured that wave. They devoured the score. They gave him an 8-point ride on that wave. They thought that thing was as delicious as a powdered malasada, Peter. Extra hot off of the...
It's like a Hawaiian donut, yeah.
A Hawaiian donut so ono with the powdered sugar on all over it, and that's exactly how sweet and tasty that was, because it's sweet and tasty for...
Let's see it again.
Connor O'Leary, because that's an excellent score. 8-point ride is right at the bottom of the excellent score range. I'd love to see that again.
Yeah, please. Let's see it again. I mean, I remember, did he get the second maneuver in, or is it just the one big move? Because he had the float, which started the wave off. I mean, that wave there, straight into second, pushing Mendez down to third.
I mean, there you go. A judge gave 7.5 was the low, 8.5 was the high, but 3 judges were all in agreement on that 8-point ride, and we averaged those 3 out. Here's another look at it.
So there again, the float to start it. Gets around this section here and goes straight up vertical. I think that's a very...
That's a generous 8.
A very generous 8. I mean, I love the maneuver. Very vertical, and he carries a ton of speed, but, you know, going excellent.
Well, the set thinks, you know, we thought that was a generous 8. I guess it's okay to be generous, as long as we're generous across the board. Here we go. We look at our WSL rule book with the judging criteria, Peter. I guess that was speed, power, and flow. And there you go, right at the bottom of that excellent range. Anything from 8 to 10 points we categorize as an excellent wave ridden.
Well, those are what you need, is excellent scores are going to get you through. Let's take a look at the recap. We can kind of see where we're at. You know, the beginning stage of this heat, Victor Bernardo was able to put up some okay numbers, and then actually his first 2 waves, the 6.77 and the 7.43 is really where he set the stage. Nice size set wave here. This was the 7.43. So this is comparison in the scale to Connor O'Leary's 8. You know, a lot more maneuvers done by Victor Bernardo. Let's take a look now at Jesse Mendez. He's the one who is sitting in that hot seat at the moment. 2 solid moves there for Jesse Mendez for the 5.77 and then the 7.03. But this is the wave that turned the heat for Connor O'Leary. Beautiful hooking snap. I mean, that was in the critical section. That's the degree of difficulty that comes into play and gets the best wave of the heat.
That's how you do it. That's how you get through heats. O'Leary, vertical again. And stabs it one more time. Double 12 o'clock for you. Noon and midnight on that wave. Bang, bang. Let's see if he bettered his 5.33.
Well, a little smaller wave, but again, that vertical approach has paid off for him with the 8. Let's see if it pays off again. Take a look. So he's very far on the inside for this wave. So it's going to be, that'll affect the score. Not going to be as a big a wave. And just a 2-turn combo there. Already has the 5.33 in his score line.
Comes in at 4.9, does not improve his position. He does stay in second place, however, right behind Victor Bernardo. Jesse Mendez in the blue jersey looking for that 6.31. Davey Cathos needs a big score of 8.93. 2 minutes, 35 seconds. A reminder, if you have to step away from your computer or here at Spectrum Surf Channel, you can take the World Surf League with you. Download the WSL app to your mobile device, and you can take this live stream anywhere you have service.
Well, you saw Victor Bernardo there utilize his priority to look like Davey Kappel's off that wave. Davey being in that position that he could easily catch Victor. Not going to change his 2-wave total as you look at this beautiful Sunday afternoon.
Yeah. Started off windy and pretty challenging. The wind's still out there, but the sun's come out to play. It's Sunday. and the beach is loading up. It looks brutal on your screen, but it's still warm and balmy outside because we're in beautiful Oahu in the Hawaiian Island chain. Love it.
So again, looking at that, Davey Cathl's been holding on to that priority for a while now. Looking for that one magic wave to get himself. Basically needs 9 points. On one wave if he wants to turn it.
Well, last year we saw a Hail Mary in the way of Griffin Colapinto in the final 30 seconds of a heat, needing a big score, and Griffin just went to the air, came out, and made that heat. That was a highlight moment of the 2016 Vans Triple Crown Surfing. Opportunity for a highlight moment for the 2017 Vans Triple Crown Surfing. We just need that wave to come through for Davey Cathos, and then Davey's going to have to do something extraordinary. But we know the young surfer from North Narrabeen is capable of putting it together. And here he goes. So he knows he needs something giant. What's he got for us? Easing through an opening hook. Gonna need something bigger. Vert there. That's a nice start to it. What's he got for the finish? Big snap. Throws a ton of spray. Peter Mel, 8.93. Thumbs up, thumbs down.
I put my neck out on that last one, and felt like I'm still trying to understand what the judges are needing to see. I mean, that was an excellent wave surfed, but I mean, my gut says that it's probably not going to be enough.
All right, we're waiting for scores. Let's take another look, Pete. You get another chance to see it.
Well, again, he catches on that outside section. He waits for this first maneuver. You know, that one there didn't quite get to lay in like he probably would have loved to, but these two moves here are solid. You know, it's going to be his best wave, but I don't quite see it going 9.
Yeah, I don't think he's going to get it either. And the judges agree, a 7.1, not enough for Davey Cathol, so it's going to be Victor Bernardo on your screen, along with Connor O'Leary advancing on into the next round. We're bringing in Chris Cote and Strider Wazgalusi for the call. Stick around for more of the Hawaiian Pro.
Welcome back to the Hawaiian Pro. Massive heats on tap here at this QS 10,000. Chris Cote here with Strider Wasilewski all day long. We've seen huge upsets, shocking defeats, some glorious victories, underdog stories. I mean, the tales just keep growing. What an incredible start to the Vans Triple Crown of Surfing.
It's been fun to watch. It's been challenging. It wasn't exactly what everybody came here for. But let me tell you, there's been some great surfing in the platform that we have. We got a lot of power in the water, so there's a lot of energy moving across. We've seen some huge scores thrown down. And you know what? The judges up there, up and down on the scale, different places here and there for our different maneuvers. This heat right here, a huge one
Round
for
3.
Jorgen Kuznet. He has to make it through this heat to better his scoreline on the champion, or to get to the championship tour. Numbers all counting in, everything, you know, all these numbers, all these surfers have results going through the year. And these two 10,000s coming into play massively, because right now he's got the chance to better his scoreline, putting him up into that qualification zone for the World Tour.
Jorgen Kuznet is looking to be a 2018 qualifier. He's got to get into that top 10. Of course, if there are some double qualifiers in there, you know, it could be 12, 13, but he's really got to solidify his place in the top 10. And I think he's going to do that with surfing like, well, jinx right there. But
commentators cursed.
30 minutes.
Threw him a pearl job right there. That was rough. Why'd you do that to him?
Sorry about that. Jorgen Kuznet, surfer out of France by way of Reunion Island. He was our 2014 French national champ. From there, quietly climbed the rankings, and he has been the talk of the town on the QS. Look at this
wave he got. He got such a nugget, came around the corner, slammed it perfectly, and then came down. I think he was trying to eyeball the last section. I think that's where he went wrong. Don't get too far out in front of yourself, my friend. You still got to make it through a couple of heats. And there he is on the New Era Qualifying Series rankings at number 12. Let me tell you right now, that man would love to be on tour. Out behind him, Wiggly.
Well, he's got a pact with Michael February, who's sitting at 11th. Michael's got some work to do now, but Wiggly Dantas is not going to make it easy for Jorgen Kuznet. And this is going to be, you know, this is kind of like a heat he would see. They're not 4-man heats on the championship tour, but let's say he does make the championship tour, he will be surfing against guys like Wiggly Dantas, Miguel Pupo, and Ricardo Christie, all three of these surfers with championship tour experience.
And, you know, let's just take a look at the World Championship Tour rankings, because Wiggly's outside the bubble right now, and he has got to perform a pipeline in order to make it. But surfing like this, a couple of snaps on the backhand, you know, he could get himself somewhere down the line here in the QS on these two 10,000s and make it up to qualify on the QS. But he is way down the list on the QS, just on the cut for the CT. So he really is going to be counting on the Pipe Masters unless he has a huge run here at Haleiwa and at Sunset.
Miguel Pupo on his backhand. Tough wave right there. Didn't really give him anything. 24 minutes, 30 seconds to go. This guy screaming through that last heat. Victor Bernardo, what a performer, on the beach now with Ian Fulke.
Yeah, I got Victor right here. Victor, we just discussed the current out in the lineup. You said you couldn't stop paddling, otherwise you'd end up in the harbor. How much harder is it than the first 2 days of the contest so far?
Oh yeah, so much current, way bigger, and it's really tough out there. I'm glad I made it. I'm really happy, and it's kind of sad that Jesse didn't make it, but he's sitting way high up in the rankings. I need some good result to like climb it to the top and hopefully get a good result here and ending Haleiwa and, you know, get some points.
Well, you're making great strides heat by heat. How did you change up your board equipment? The waves are much bigger. There's a lot more current. Did you ride something that was a little bit bigger or more pulled in than the previous heats?
Oh yeah, I rode a 6.2. On the first days I was riding a 5.10. It was really small, so today is way bigger. I started on my board like first time this morning. It felt good, but I didn't get the bigger waves, but I knew like in the heat I would get bigger waves, so 6.2, and it was really good. Eric Arakawa, and yeah, just want to say thanks to Eric too.
A lot of the surfers here riding local Shapers boards. We saw Peng, Eric Arakawa, so keep the roll going, Victor, and we'll see you in the next round. Back to you guys.
Jeez, and behind that interview, Miguel Pupo going vertical multiple times. Give it up for Victor Bernardo, coming in with a smile, knowing his job is not even close to done.
Yep, and you know, just getting back into this heat, guys that are in this heat, they're all fighting right now for qualification. Wiggly Dantas sitting 24th on the WCT. A couple of nice backhand snaps right there, so he's got to get inside the top 20. We go Pupo 23rd on the WCT, so he's got to do well at Pipeline as well. He's down at, I think, like 34th on the QS. So he knows the QS grind pretty well.
I see it almost a next level of urgency in this heat.
He's at 36th on the QS, sorry.
Oh, yeah. So, I mean, all four of these guys are just right outside looking in. So the big result here could just be the big difference for all of these surfers on the year.
Ricardo Christie, he's like at 19th. Could just jump up into it. You just never know what's going to happen. This is just like, and with these conditions and all that current and everything in the water, it's pretty much a crapshoot out there.
The unpredictable
You're just
nature
rolling the dice, right?
of the Vans triple crown of surfing always gets us. So Miguel Pupo in the lead now. His last score comes through, 4.5, so add that to his 2. And a slim lead, and it will change, and it already has changed. Wiggly Dantas on the strength of that big, powerful backside. 3.83 to 3.6. All of this will change. This is a long heat, 30 minutes. You know, the first couple days of competition seemed to fly by because surfers were catching 10, 12 waves per heat. Now we're seeing surfers 4, maybe 5 waves per heat. There's your Jeep leaderboard. There you see Miguel Pupo 23rd and Wiggly Dantas 24th. Of course, the points here at the Hawaiian Pro don't equate to points there on the championship tour, but nonetheless, a lot of urgency in this heat for these surfers who need to do something, whether it's QS points to requalify or
they could
a
go
big
for that
finish at Pipeline.
Huge run here would be, you know, even at one of these contests, if not both of them you're going to qualify. If you have a good run, a huge run, you know, getting into the final day, possibly even winning one. Ricardo Christie, he needs this finish. But the confidence that you get from surfing in these two events, if you do well, will carry into Pipeline. And having that momentum is what you need, because let me tell you, Miguel Pupo and Wiggly Dantas at Pipeline are deadly. And it will be really fun to see those guys make it through a couple of rounds, secure their spot back onto the CT. But they're going to come up against all of the local wild cards. There are so many great surfers from Hawaii, living in Hawaii, surfing at Pipeline, and they know that wave crazy well. Backdoor, Pipeline, and trying to actually go out there and get a warm-up, good luck.
Wiggly Dantas now. His backhand is absolutely brutal. 3 blistering turns. Mincemeat was made of that wave here at Haleiwa. He's been training a lot too up the Boar's Nest. He's been feeling it over. He's been over at Uncle Eddie's house doing some training as well. That's where he's staying. He's just on fire. I love it. Wiggly Dantas, he wants it. And that was some great surfing on that last wave. There are very few people in the world that can throw spray like Wiggly Dantas.
He just hits it in the nail right on the head every time. It's crazy. Just buckets. So great surfing right there. A little fin release off the back of that. So 2 really solid turns and finishes with some aggression on the inside corner. Pushing water right there. Strong legs.
It's the perfect mix of power and precision. Wiggly Dantas. We see a quick look at Jorgen Kuzene. So far, not good for our Frenchman.
Yeah, Jorgen looks like the wheels are coming off a little bit. Maybe he's just too excited knowing that he's got to better his results, and this is the heat that he can do it in. Imagine the pressure. Sitting down at number 12, drops in, finds himself a nice wave. Look at that wave. Kind of mistimes the setup snap and then hits that one a little late too. Out of rhythm on that wave. If he could have found the rhythm, he could have really done some damage on this wave. So does a little setup snap, then comes up into the bowl, and he hits it, his best wave, but gosh, just a little off kilter. That wave was an excellent score waiting to happen. Wave quality was there.
I really like that opening turn. In a lot of places around the world, you can get away with a late hit like that, but here on the toilet bowl section at Haleiwa, more often than not, you will be pitched if you try to attack the lip late, like Jorgen did on that last wave. But again, plenty of time, and as you see, right on the paddle back out, Wiggly Dantas again,
Yeah, he's finding little sections. Bingo. There it is. Christmas trees everywhere. Straight up. Just firing water into the sky. And on point. Wiggly Dantes, he's up into the lead and backing up, bettering his score possibly with that last little wave, but not blowing it out of the park by any means. So this thing's still pretty wide open.
Ricardo Christie. Foam climb out. Plenty of time to go. 17 minutes on the clock. Nobody is yet to really break through in this heat. A 5.33, the highest single wave score by Wiggly Dantes. Miguel Pupo out the back with priority. Jorgen Cousinet in third, or second priority now, in third place. And he's having a look. Little chip shot wedge for Jorgen. Had some trouble getting on the open face. A no-go for Jorgen Cousinet.
I mean, you think about it. We'll let Wiggly drop in on this one.
Miguel Pupo and his backhand highlining so much speed. And a little bit of confusion equals a lip launch for Miguel Pupo. It almost looked like he was attempting to pull out. Thought better of it. Too late. See you later. He's all right, back on his board, straight back out there.
If you're the Frenchman, you know, Jorgen, you're just thinking about your childhood dreams and then trying to get back into it. We'll go over this one with Miguel just looking down the line, looking for it. Looked like he was going to try and hit the lip or get barreled, and then the whole thing threw him off kilter, and he went for about a 20-yard speed dive.
That was not pretty. Dantes again. Another massive backside hook for Wiggly. And so this is a great kind of juxtaposition of somebody who is absolutely turned on, feeling it in the cycle, in a great rhythm right now with Haleiwa, as opposed to Ricardo Christie right now, who's just got a 1.07 and a 0.57, who appears at this point to be lost at sea, but still got half a heat to go. Ricardo Christie is that good of a surfer where within 2 minutes he could flip this thing. Here's a look at Wiggly's last wave. Love this first turn.
Jams it right up into the corner, pushes water, pivots on the front foot, then finds the inside connection, slams it home. He'll better that 4 for sure, possibly even the 5.33. So just on the money. And you see how hard he pushes, and then pushes on the front foot to release the fins right at the end. So it's just weight ratio right there. Great work.
Ricardo Christie trying to fight back, setting it up. Could have a good clean line in front of him, goes up the lip. Again, just mistimed. Final turn, pretty good. So hopefully that will help build a little bit of momentum for Ricardo Christie, who looks purpose-built for waves like this. He's got that nice kind of wide stance, gets himself right in the pocket every turn. Just a little bit behind timing-wise on that last wave.
You know, Ricardo Christie, when he qualified for the World Tour, he came out hot. He looked really good, confident. You know, his surfing was bigger, it was cleaner. And ever since then, he's kind of lost momentum when he fell off of tour. I'd love to see him jump back in that driver's seat and surf with confidence again.
I'm with you. 13 minutes, 45 seconds to go. We're going to take a quick break. We'll be right back with more action. And Wiggly Dantes, hold on. You're going to have to stay tuned to find out. You're watching the Hawaiian Pro.
Hi, and welcome back to the Hawaiian Pro here at Haleiwa Beach Park. It's a beautiful Sunday. Started out a little rainy, and we still got some wind, but the beach, as you can see, is starting to flare up. Everyone's coming down and enjoying their weekend here. If you're out there watching from your TV, get off your couch, come on down to the beach. It's a full day of epic competition. We're going to be running through round 3 today, and a lot of the big names are actually back in the competition for their first surf, so it's going to be interesting to see how they battle these blustery conditions here at Haleiwa Beach for the Hawaiian Pro.
He's right. Big names in the water now. Big names coming up. John Florence will make his Haleiwa debut in our next heat, round 3, heat 8. But right now, we've got an epic battle in the lineup. Wiggly Dantas in the lead. Now Jorgen Kuzene gets what he needs. He's in second place. Miguel Pupo drops to third. Ricardo Christie down to fourth here in round 3. We've got our top 22 CT surfers entering the arena. Ricardo Christie in fourth place right now, but definitely showing no signs of quit. He's got to get himself on better looking waves. Wave selection has been critical today. Ricardo Christie is not finding the gems yet, but we got 11 minutes to go. What do you think are his chances, Strider, of coming back in this heat?
Well, he doesn't need much. 5.22. He's got plenty of time. He's got to find momentum. This wave right here will put him into that kind of feeling of getting the momentum back as he sets up a little cutty back into the corner where the wave stands up and then throws it up into the lip. A lot of in-between surfing there, but let's see the slow-mo. Times it really well. Releases a little fin, comes down with it into the impact zone. So it doesn't really come through it super clean, but solid surfing as he hit the lip and came down and came out of it. So completion, it'll better his scoreline, it'll better his chance of advancement, and you just got to get back into that rhythm and find those open face clean waves.
Miguel Pupo fading left, cranking it on the bottom turn, going right, up into the lip. Big foamy face. Nice finishing snap for Miguel Pupo, who's in fourth place, needing a 4.5, 4.45. That could be on the money.
Miguel Pupo has just been absolutely terrorizing different waves around the world. He looks so smooth.
He's been really...
How good is that guy?
He's been one of the top 5s in the free surf contest over here on the North Shore.
Right? There he is. Nice, quick turn up into the bowl. 3 turns right there for a great finish on the inside. That kind of finish will fire you up and the judges.
Wiggly Dantas, watch out. Bam! Huge first snap for Wiggly Dantas, trying to get back onto the open face. That was just nihilistic surfing from Wiggly Dantas. What an incredible opening turn. Fasten your seatbelt, surf fans. The replay could break the screen of your computer.
Yeah, that's going to be fun to watch. See what kind of damage he does in the lip right here. So, gets a great entry into this wave, able to set it up, and that section just perfectly ribbed out in front of him. You saw the rib coming up, and he just nailed it on time, in line. Just perfect execution, and then came around for that closeout turn. Here's the view I wanted to see. See the rib going across the wave, and he perfectly timed hitting the lip right in the rib and the lip as it was throwing over. Spray everywhere. It's still falling in the background, and he's going into his bottom turn.
If the spray is still falling when you're doing a bottom turn, you've just done something incredible.
Yeah, and then just gets a click off the inside right there. Rock solid. That's going to be a really big score, biggest score of the heat so far, and he's going to put himself in a very comfortable position with over 14 points, and you know what that means. He's making it through the heat.
But check this out. Miguel Pupo now. He's advanced past Jorgen Kuzene, who's now in third, needing a 3.63, so a super tight battle for second place now. Ricardo Christie's still in this. Only, he needs a 5.77, which is a pretty sizable score if you're looking at the scoreboard here, but definitely not out of the realm of what he's capable of. And scores are popping through for Wiggly Dantas, a 7.13.
I don't know about, yeah, that score I don't really 100% agree with. I would, in my opinion, that was, you know, up into the 7.5, almost to excellent range just because of how well he did to time that off, that slam vertical in the lip with the apex of that rib going through it. But nonetheless, he's in that 14-point range, which is going to get you through the heat.
Still in the lead. Well, this guy needs a result here to better his throwaway score, and that's not going to help him. This is one of the first off heats we've seen from Jorgen Kuzine, who's still absolutely in the conversation to make it through this heat, but he is going to have to clean things up a little bit.
Well, here's a replay. See, here's that same rib. Hits it perfectly, comes around the corner, and then tries to hit the rib again, but he went over the back of the rib, and that's why he fell. So hit the rib perfectly right at the apex of it there, and then this turn he tries to do the same thing, but see, he's just on the back side of it. You see how he almost aired off of it, and he wanted to turn down into that. And if he could have timed it a little bit better, he would have come up with a huge score right there, because that wave, along with the other wave that offered up all that opportunity, was just a little mistimed. So he's had the opportunities, he just hasn't been able to perform.
Wait for the ski, and the ski will take you to the inside. All right, everything else is the same. 30 minutes, no restart. If you do break your border leash, then the ski will take you, the ski will bring you in, but you have to paddle out.
Mitch Colburn checking in. Here we go. Ricardo Christie trying to fight from fourth place. Nice opening snap with the quickness. Straight off the bottom, back onto the open face. Nice car for Ricardo Christie. A solid 1-2-3 punch. And that'll get him back in this heat.
I like that. That was fun to watch. You know, it took him a while to wind up, but once he did, he thrashed on the inside corner 3 times. You know, he gets around this section right here, and he's got all that speed, and he just comes up for a nice little shrack in the lip, and then comes around, sweeps it again, and then gets another one on the inside right here. So
love how he powers through those turns.
Little face power cars, and he got a nice in the lip maneuver as well.
Live action, Miguel Pupo. Big backside snap, straight back into the lip. Somehow manages to stay on his feet with a late hit right on the toilet bowl. Miguel Pupo. This is an incredible heat.
Well, the 2 regular foots are basically battling against the 2 goofy foots, and right now the goofy foots have got their number as Wiggly throws a quick snap off the top and then throws it up with a lumpy lip line and comes down. Pretty clean surfing. A solid score will come across. I think Miggy's going to better his score line as well as Ricardo Christie, who really is in need of that right now, big time. So
Miguel up and out real quick. I think the judges, well, I know the judges like dramatic surfing like that. You saw Wiggly, bam, up in the lip. And speaking of dramatic surfing, you're about to see some radical maneuvers go down. John Florence is entering the water, folks, the Hawaiian Pro. This is our first look at our current Jeep ratings leader on the championship tour. Obviously not worried about points on the QS, but always in the conversation when it comes to the Vans Triple Crown of surfing. You would have to say he's our favorite.
Well, he's definitely. This is the fun part about this, is that this is our first look after Portugal at John Florence at home, and the time that he's spent between now and then. Looks like the equipment, he just looks like a refined ghost that he's been riding from Paisel. We get to, I know the conditions aren't amazing, but it doesn't really matter. We've seen all these guys performing at a high level out here. So we'll get to see him in the next heat. But right now, let's watch Wiggly.
Wiggly Dantas. Another vertical power hook for Wiggly. Straight off the bottom. That bottom turn is a thing of brutal beauty. And you see the power base with Wiggly's surfing. Power and precision. Not a lot of people do it as good as Wiggly Dantas. He's in the lead. Miguel Pupo in second. Score came through for Miguel's last wave of 6.07. That's going to solidify that second place position.
Wiggly replay. One quick top turn, the next one a little mistimed, then goes for the Little air 3 off the end of it, but doesn't come down with it. A lot of work going into the
2 minutes to go. Ricardo Christie reacting to the scores and what he needs. Takes a look at the watch. Now gets back on the treadmill. This is a huge moment here on the QS battle. Jorgen Kuzene, somehow he's been surfing so consistent, not just in this event, in the last 3 events on the QS, in danger of, you know, kind of, you really have to keep the pace on the QS if you want to qualify. You have to keep the pace with the people surrounding you in the rankings, and this is going to be a tough one for Jorgen Kuzene, who came into the Vans Triple Crown of Surfing on the Hawaiian Pro with so much momentum. Miguel Pupo. Just sheer determination, super consistent. Found himself on the right waves, did the right things. Surfing well enough to keep himself in 2nd place. Ricardo Christie in 3rd. Under a minute to go. So all the battles going on now in the QS, and in just a few weeks we're going to see the world title.
The scenarios are crazy.
The scenarios are crazy coming into
watching
Hawaii.
that thing, you know, you got Julian Wilson, Jordy Smith, and Gabriel Medina all able to still win the world title. And John sitting up top, obviously, just basically has to finish out in front of all of those guys to do it. If John makes the final, he wins no matter what. But he can't lose before that and let those other guys pass him. I think that Gabriel has to pass him by maybe 2 heats. I think it's a couple thousand points.
And surf fans at home can get involved.
So that means even if John makes the semifinals and Gabriel makes the final, Gabriel could win.
It's all going down at WSLTitleRace.com. And in that last heat, this was a QS super battle. Wiggly Dantas takes the win. Miguel Pupo in 2nd. Ricardo Christie drops out, along with Jorgen Kuzene. We've got a lot of surfing to come, including the debut of John Florence here at Haleiwa. This is the Hawaiian Pro. Stay tuned.